And welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. A fine Ballsmick Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. If you miss portions of the program, fret not. We got you covered. We'll post the show upon its conclusion, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. As always, when you go to iTunes, rate, review, share, comment, all that good stuff. You can email us if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameronshow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And hello, as always, YouTubers and Periscopers. Team is confident. They're letting you know that. Obviously, the defensive players came out talking today, and their message has been pretty simple here about wanting to prove that they're back, that they're capable of dominating, and that FSU is going to reveal its true self, that last year was an anomaly. And certainly fans would be more than excited to see that happen. I think it's a bit strange. I don't think it's necessarily on message from Willie Taggart and the changes that he's implemented with his team. And the messages that he sent his team with those changes. They're subtle. They're not anything drastic, but obviously he's downplayed sort of the arrogance and simplified a lot of things. Been real happy with, obviously camp. So I get it. I want my players, especially my defensive players, to be full of confidence, brimming with confidence and wanting to dominate. That's all well and good. Just don't know that we need to talk about it just yet. I think it's probably a good way, if I'm a coach, to limit the amount of times I allow them to talk to the press before games, which stinks. I don't ever want to encourage that. Right, clicky pins, I hear it there. I mean, and maybe they do it. Maybe they fulfill that promise. You might say to yourself, what are you talking about? Well, Marvin Wilson said a lot of people got us downplayed this year, don't have us doing a lot of great things, but we know what we've got in this group. We know what we can do this year. We know the goals we have set, so we're going to go and reach them. Now, that one I've got no problem with. Jaden Lars would be added on, saying dominate. Okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what we preach every day. You practice it so much, we just got to go out there and perform. And dominating is what Florida State defense is all about. We've just got to bring that back. We've got the right dudes to do it this year. Part of that I'm fine with. I like the confidence that you're playing alongside guys that can go out and do that. But, man, we haven't dominated anybody on defense in some time, and we haven't dominated anybody, period. Certainly not on the scoreboard in a long time. I sure hope they're right. I don't want to make too much of it. They're just comments on a game week. They're kids. They're excited. They're chomping at the bit to get out there and face somebody who's not in the same color uniform they're in. They want to prove themselves after a abysmal season a year ago. I would prefer, however, just to not say anything here, to really look at this almost like business, take care of what should be not quite the same as playing at Doak, but a home field advantage nonetheless, and go out and prove to yourself that you can do that before you worry about what everybody else around the country thinks of you.
Seems like Harlan Barnett was excited to watch these guys go play on Saturday, and I mean that in a genuine way. I think earlier in camp there were a couple of availabilities where you go, ooh, I don't know that Harlan has all the answers lined up that he needs for the beginning of the regular season, but it seems like he likes the group. And in fact, one of the segments he was talking about, which we love, as at least on the starters line on the depth chart, that defensive line, he says, I can't wait to watch these guys go out and do the things that we've been teaching them to do since we made this switch to a three-man front.
Well, he's got dudes there. He's got real dudes there, guys that can go and play. I don't think there's any doubt that the starters of that group, obviously starting with Marvin Wilson, who's a man amongst boys at times, and he has straight up lifted guys off the ground since returning from his injury. So I'm excited to see him play too. And if I were Harlan, I'd want to see that too. But we like the starters. We've talked about them before, whether it's Durden or anybody else. We like the starters. Coop is a great player. I mean, certainly when healthy, he's almost an immovable object. Those guys are great. It's the depth that we worry about there. I'm even all right and pretty excited about the starters at linebacker. I think they're pretty good too. I think we'll be all right there. I worry about the depth of that position, the lack of experience for some of the guys we're going to ask to play valuable reps this year at that position. Feel real good about the secondary. I'm cautious about saying that too often because the secondary was something we thought would be good a year ago. I do think the circumstances are different this time around. Cross your fingers it stays this way. I mean, we see injuries right before the start of the season all the time. There's one at Alabama just yesterday where you lose a guy for the season, and he's a guy that they're depending on greatly. I'll get into that story in a bit, but you hold your breath right now. I mean, come on, let's get through this week. Everything should be all right. But right now, we're healthy. We're very healthy, and we emerged from camp healthy. That's a big damn deal because your starters, I think almost across the board, maybe with the exception of offensive line, and don't take it the wrong way, quarterback, you feel pretty good about across the board. And that's true, relatively speaking, of the offensive line and quarterback as well. It's just not a dominating position. It's not a position where you have elite athletes and elite players. But you've got starters that you think can win football games. I think if you suffer injuries to your offensive line, you're in real danger of the season unraveling again. But for starters, I think we're all kind of cautiously optimistic about what that group's going to do this year.
I think so.
I mean, it sounds so weird to compliment the offensive line, but I think they're going to play significantly better. I'll stand by that.
I think so, too. Since it's the defense's day and Jaden was one of the guys talking, I'm worried at linebacker that he's the solution at the second starting linebacker position. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not an incredible athlete and capable of, and maybe he's deserving of being on the field with, the starting 11. Just at that position, I think, okay. So after all this work we did in the spring and we thought we were going to play him at safety at one point, then you think, all right, he's going to come back in, play defensive back, maybe a slot defender. Now he's going to be an inside backer, not even in that star position where Leonard Warner is going to line up. Okay, we'll see how that goes. We didn't defend the field in the middle part between the hash marks all that well last year. Will we get better there? And I look at safety, too, when you're looking at the starters.
Yeah, I get why.
I know that Levante is getting a lot of run this preseason camp. A lot of people behind the scenes say it works. I hope so. I'm still nervous about it, though, because your second safety is Hamza. When the middle of the field was one of the weakest parts of your defense last year, especially through the air, and those are the two guys that are starting. One, a position convert, and the other one you thought that was going to roll up and play linebacker because he can't cover. Okay, all right, let's see how they do this weekend.
You are clicking the pin, man.
On that particular position, yeah, safety, I do want to see how that works out. Now, maybe we rotate a bunch of guys in and everything's hunky-dory, but at least when you're looking at the starters line, that's one position group where I circle. I say, defensive line, I feel great about the starters. Depth, not so much. Safeties, I don't know how I feel about the starters. I like some of the younger guys that are coming up the works, though.
Well, I feel really good about the defensive backfield depth that we have and the talent that they've recruited. That's been an area where they've actually been able to recruit on an elite level. It's surprising the number of 5-star and 4-star kids they have in that secondary to choose from. So I feel like you have options there if somebody's not getting the job done, and it's a talented option. So I'm all right there. I'm hardly fretting. I get it. You want to see it to believe it, especially when you're looking at position switches. That's fair. We all want to do that. That's part of the clicky pin mentality. But I do like our options. I do like our depth, and I do like our talent at the position group.
Yeah, to put it simply, can we defend the seams a little bit this year? Can we do a little bit better against the seams? Because, if Boise State, and this is where it all comes down to for the weekend, you got a true freshman quarterback, you would think they want to run the football. Let's just say they run to neutral success, right? They win some, they lose some. But if it's enough to create play action, how's our eye discipline? How are we doing? Linebackers, are we where we need to be? And then over the top, are we where we need to be? And pre-snap, when we get in whatever looks we're going in. If we're multiple, then that means the traffic cop is really, really important to get us in the certain alignments we need to be. And I would assume that Levante Taylor is supposed to be that player since he's the last line of defense.
I'm going to go back to something you said, and because I understand what you're talking about with where we thought they were going to play and where they're being asked to play. But I don't share the same concerns about Jaden Lars Woodby. And one of the reasons is that if you look at his body type and he's put on weight, he's 225 now, 226, somewhere in there. That's big enough in college football to be an effective linebacker in that spot. And he's also, more importantly, instinctive, very smart, very, very smart. and a guy. Like, he's not just another dude out there playing. He's a baller. That's a guy that is tough, not afraid, will hit your ass, played out of position undersized, and still made a ton of tackles. Now he's added the weight. He's a really smart football player. I think he transitions really nicely. I do.
Well, yeah, he's got plenty weight. I mean, Telvin Smith played lighter than he's listed right now. So 100% he has the weight necessary. It's just the mentality of being a linebacker is a little bit different than the mentality of even an aggressive slot corner.
I don't disagree. I think it's there, though, because I always thought from the first game last year, when you got a chance to see him come up and hit, he was a guy being asked to do a lot early, and he was able to do it for most games. I mean, there were times, I think he wore down without question. Then there was an injury and all that. But
you'd forgive him a freshman wall as well.
Right. Yeah. I feel very good about him. And I think he's a player that we're going to be talking about most of the year. Knock on wood, he stays healthy, because I think he's going to have a significant impact on this defense. And if he does, that lightens the load. The expectations of this group is that they have to improve greatly, but they can't do it on their own. That group a year ago is really hard to decipher, because on the one hand, they tackled well in space. That's saying something for a defense. They actually did do that. They didn't trigger. They didn't run fit. They didn't take on blocks. They also were never put in a position to succeed because of the offense. The offense let that group down more than any other coach or player that you could point to. The offense killed them, and they were out there so frequently. They were often with their backs against the wall defending their half of the football field. They would inherit, as we saw statistically speaking, the worst inherited field position for a defense in the Power 5, I think it was. That was, after a while, you break. And I don't know when that happened. I can't pinpoint the game. They had bad results a lot, but at what point was their spirit broken? And we just saw guys kind of, and it's human nature. I know you want to say about everybody, we all do, that they're going to play hard every game no matter what. A little bit like the Bucs defense, our pro team. I mean, at some point when you can't get home and your offense is struggling and you're just, you get broken down after a while and you get worn down. And I think there is a here we go again mentality that we talk about a lot on this show. And I don't know when that happened last year. So if they get some success on offense, even flipping field position. I go back, I bring this up a lot, but when we see teams that are built around, let's just pick any team that's built around a dominating defense, and the offense is the part that you worry about, whether that's an LSU in the SEC year in and year out because they don't have quarterback play. Some of those dominating defenses at Florida, they all broke eventually, right, because they weren't getting anything on offense. The second you infuse just a little bit of success on offense, oftentimes it's just about flipping field. It's just about converting a few first downs to give me a rest. Let me come off the field, gather myself, get some water, get my breath, look over some film, or some, in this case, whether you're looking at pictures or these days an iPad, and kind of get back out there and regroup and not constantly be defending my own side of the field and hoping like hell that we can hold somebody to 10 points, 13 points. If you get that, you're emboldened. It engenders more confidence and a belief that you can go out and win football games.
Yeah, I think that's critical for the defensive line, especially. I think you've got enough depth. I know I don't feel great about the second position if we're talking the two interior linebackers that would be is the solution there. But if you look at the depth of the position, Emmett Rice is back healthy. DeKalen Brooks, say what you want. He had a good enough camp before he got hurt, and he was in the non-contact jersey that he was competing with Jaden for the job. And then your third string are your two freshmen in McCray and Deloach.
Yeah.
So I feel like depth-wise, you're okay there if you need a breather for a minute.
Yeah.
But the defensive front, that's where us getting first downs, us chewing time off of the clock.
Going to be critical. Going to be critical.
It is going to be by the fourth quarter.
Those big guys can't hang. You got to,
right. What does Cooper look like in the fourth quarter if he can't get first downs?
Exhausted and really ineffective. Yes, I agree with you. By the way, less DeKalen Brooks, if possible. Like, very little. Like, maybe not at all.
He was neck and neck with Jaden. What does that say? I feel like that's like the reverse of the quarterback battle.
I don't know that he was ever neck and neck. No. That ain't going to work. Somewhere else, maybe. And obviously I know who he is. But no. Not here.
I saw it too. That's why it had me concerned. I thought this was going to be the McCray, Dontavius, Bash Brothers interior linebacker core here, where you just have two thumpers going to war.
I will say they do like some of these young linebackers an awful lot, And if they can ease them into playing time, these are bigger dudes, thicker dudes, and more instinctive guys. And you look what they're bringing in this next recruiting class. They got a chance to change the way we view linebackers for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I know I skipped Glenn, too, when I was talking about the third wave of guys.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
So we may see more of them.
Well, then you got Akeem Dent that isn't even, cracking when you're talking about corner, the two deep.
That tells you how good that secondary's been and the talent that's been brought in.
Yeah.
See, we're programmed right now. We all are to view somebody who was a name that we had such high hopes for not emerging as fast as we had hoped to mean that they're a bust or they're injured or they didn't improve as much as quickly as we thought they should. I'm inclined, and I know why that is, and we should be, because goodness gracious, we've been crushed 3 years in a row early in the season, and all of our dreams thrown out the window just like that. But I'm inclined to believe when it comes to that secondary, anybody that didn't emerge as fast as we would have liked after seeing a glimpse of their potential, and we did with Akeem Dent, that is the direct result of some of those guys who maybe weren't as big a names that came in and said yes to Florida State, Travis Jay and others, having an impact on the depth chart, having an impact on competition and who gets playing time, and how quickly that happened for a group that is probably the deepest on the team, right?
Yeah, well, in reference to the defensive backs, who I feel like has had an incredibly quiet camp? Stanford Samuels.
Well, that's because he's just holding it down.
Right.
They're fine.
Remember last year
on lockdown.
He was a lockdown corner, and they changed him in camp to Zeus. Mm-hmm. Remember, Sam is going to play the Zeus position. Yeah. Oh, wow. We're so loaded at corner, he's going to play over the top. I don't know why we're not allowed
to call people what we used to always call them, safeties and corners. Can't people just be safeties and corners anymore? Why does everybody have to be a Zeus or a star or anything? I understand why and how it is. I get the lingo, and I understand hybrid roles. You can still be a safety that plays down in the box or over the top. You can still be a corner. You can have field corner. Why do we have to have 450 names for people?
If we have two safeties this year, I feel very good. I feel very good about our chances. They can be a Zeus and a safety. They can be a Zeus and a Willie. I don't know. I don't care. If we've got two of them that can play the Zeus and the Willie.
Can they be a free safety and a strong safety? Can they be
a Fredo and a Stan?
Can they be a middle linebacker and an outside linebacker?
Well, a Stan's not a good thing in the kids' lingo.
They got to be a jack and a stud. They got to be a jack and a stud and a Zeus and a Willie. Okay. What about money? Or a star? How about a linebacker? He's a linebacker. He's a safety. And he's a corner. Just me.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Brew Bus for an August 31st trip over to Jacksonville. For more information, visit facebook.com/Tallahassee Brew Bus. And hurry, there are under 10 seats remaining.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road in the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. Green smoothies and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Labor Day sale at Ace, the perfect time to buy the latest grills from our exclusive lineup of premium brands. Right now, buy one of our select Traeger grills and get a free Traeger accessories package valued at over $85. Plus, Ace Rewards members get free assembly and delivery on our top grills and accessories $3.99 and up. From our store right to your door. Don't miss the Labor Day sale. Now through Monday, only at Ace. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orangetheory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orangetheory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orangetheory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orangetheory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
When things break, do you prefer to fix them or replace them?
I'd like to leave it there as long as possible until it becomes totally impossible to use the thing anymore, and then pay someone to fix it.
Yeah, pay someone to fix it. I like to leave it there as long as possible to see how long it's going to take Abby to notice. And it's not very long usually, and then she pays someone to fix it.
My father taught us very few things, right? My brother loves to tell the story of going to like a Boy Scout meet and his car that they made at home falling apart on, before it started, the wheels came off and everything else. But one thing my father did teach me, and it's something that I saw throughout my childhood, is find friends who are good at fixing things. Make your social circle friends who are good at fixing things so that you never have to fix anything for yourself.
That's a heady play, man.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
On the status of the football game. If you spend any time on Twitter or social media at all, everybody's got an opinion about what's going to happen with that, but nothing official right now, and that's our job to report that. So far, nothing out of Florida State other than that they are monitoring the situation closely. I get that. I feel like everybody's going to weigh in, so I'll give you my opinion on this. If you wanted to be safe and it was at all possible, I think early in the week is the time to do it. Just announce you're moving the game up. From what we see with the various models, of which there are many, one thing I think that might be consistent there is that if you were to move this thing up to noon or 1 o'clock, you really would give yourself an easy opportunity to not only play the game, of course, and complete the game, but get people the opportunity to get out of Dodge in the hours after the game without fretting too much about the impending storm.
And obviously, if you're not paying attention to these reports every 3 hours, it's not critical for Tallahassee yet, but you should probably be thinking about your plan in case. The forecast has changed. This thing yesterday, they were looking for interactions with Puerto Rico and the island of Hispaniola. It only brushed across Puerto Rico, and it's out now, and it's
good
forecasted.
For them, by the way. Good for them. Those poor people that have had to endure so much. Yes, I'm glad that they didn't where the brunt of
the hard thing about hurricanes is I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
if this thing could have sheared, if Hispaniola could have
understand.
sheared the thing and saved us all some aggravation and perhaps catastrophe, that'd be great too. But now it looks like it might be a major hurricane landfall around
first of all,
Daytona.
First of all, let's just say this. It is now a hurricane. It is not a tropical storm.
Yeah.
Since we talked yesterday, it was a tropical storm as of yesterday,
Right.
and didn't figure to be much more than that. Instead, we should note it is now a hurricane.
But the problem is the cone of uncertainty is the entire state of Florida and up into coastal Georgia and even a touch of coastal South Carolina. So there's that, but they're now saying that the intensity of the storm when it lands on the contiguous United States is going to be that of a major hurricane, a Category 3 or stronger.
It is a Category 1 currently, with winds at 75 miles per hour, like you noted, though, that it is forecast to intensify to Cat 3 hurricane strength by the time it hits Florida. Because, of course, it is. It's an annual occurrence these days. There's been 3 years in a row in which the state certainly has had to deal with this, and those of us in the Panhandle have, and now this will be 4.
In short, beyond the football game, it's time to pay attention to it because it's a really tough storm to look at and break down. There's a lot of factors out there in the water that could turn this thing more westerly or it could go to the north. And this thing could either slice the state in half and go into the Gulf in those 90-degree waters and become an intense problem for us, or it could go up the Atlantic coast and be a problem for the Carolinas. Yeah. But you probably need to start paying attention to it. It's not till Monday or Tuesday this thing's going to hit land, but still, if and when it does, and if it slices across the state, it could be a giant problem for us, so it's at least something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, look, for Tallahassee, you're basically just talking about, if you're not going to the game, for Tallahassee, you're basically just expecting a bunch of rain in the coming days, in particular on Saturday and Sunday, just a lot of rain and winds, not nothing severe, 10 miles per hour, 15 miles per hour. But again, that could all radically change.
By the time we get to Tuesday or Wednesday, we could be looking at something major. So just, if you're one of those folks who says, I'll worry about it when it gets closer, well, okay, start looking at it tonight into tomorrow. It's probably smart.
In particular, if you're going to the damn game. And that's the whole thing here right now. Obviously, everybody knows that you're, family safety, and everybody's, being concerned about their homes, their property, their friends, and their family. Everybody gets that. That comes first. But we are talking about a football game and an eagerly anticipated one, and we're not to ignore the fact that there are a lot of people traveling from all over the country, all over the state certainly, and from Tallahassee over to Jacksonville, and we're amongst them. And so we'll update you as we know more, and certainly as the university makes any sort of announcement, because that's what a lot of you are doing now, is finding out, hey, I'm not interested in what Jeff and Tom or Jerry and Lee, untrained meteorologists, have to say about what they think the storm's going to do. What's the university going to do? Is the game going to be played? And should I or should I not travel? They're going to move this thing, or what are they going to do? And moving the locale, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just going to tell you that now. Again, I'll reiterate, I don't think they're moving this game, period. They might move the time, but I don't think they're moving the location.
By this time tomorrow, we should have a definitive answer on what we're doing. Boise gets into Jacksonville, I believe, tomorrow to get acclimated to the time change and to the weather itself. Tropical or non-tropical.
Right.
So, they'll be there. It's not like people are arriving, late Friday night, and so they wouldn't be ready to go on a Saturday earlier in the day. They could make this thing happen if they want to, but we'll know a heck of a lot more tonight into tomorrow morning for sure.
I don't want to be so short-sighted because you hear a lot of really silly, people posit a lot of silly things surrounding storms. I remember Danny Cannell saying a bunch of ridiculous things a year or two ago, and people do because they get so football hungry that the idea of a game being canceled is devastating. That said, when you get this much notice, and we know the havoc it does wreak on these seasons, and you're short a game and the impact that has on bowls and all that other stuff. Anymore, I think we have to go into seasons prepared for the idea that, certainly early, there's a chance that you're going to be riddled with a storm, and you have to have contingency plans for these things. And I would say, I have been of the mindset that, look, I get it affects TV, it affects dollars, it affects travel, it affects fans, it affects players and families and all of that stuff. But, if you have to play the game in El Paso, move the game. On a Tuesday, say, sorry, I guess nobody's going to be here, but we're going to play in the Superdome. I'd like us to start making contingency plans across the board.
Sure.
To move games.
Well, and for the people of Tallahassee, even though this thing isn't directly, threatening Tallahassee right now, It's 4 years in a row.
I know.
And that's for
what I'm
us.
saying. Yeah.
So, yeah, you probably need to start rolling out those contingency
like,
plans.
hey, here's the deal. A, we like to play the games at Doak Campbell Stadium. Stop shipping them off to Orlando
Which
and
would work in this case.
and Atlanta.
Would work nicely.
Yeah, just play the games here. And then when you can't, you say, all right, listen, if this first one, for any reason, we've got problems with the weather, we're shipping it to Topeka, Kansas. There'll be nobody at that game except for the free tickets we give away to the fine folks at Topeka.
You know how long the conversation would be about contingency plans if this game was at Doak this weekend?
It's over with.
It's a trick question. It never happened.
It never happened.
They'd be worrying about the kids in the dorms on Monday and Tuesday, and that's about it.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Of player wellness maybe is sometimes overlooked because in some ways we want them to be the people that can be heroic on Sundays or in other sports multiple nights during the week. That I think it's a healthy conversation that we've had regarding the lack of health that players are dealing with in some cases.
Field Yates on Golick and Wingo. 49ers running back Jerick McKinnon is trying to come back from a torn ACL, but his status is up in the air now after a setback in practice on Tuesday. Royals owner David Glass is hoping to sell the team to a group led by local businessman John Sherman. The selling price would be right around $1 billion. Sherman is currently a minority owner of the Indians, and he'd have to sell his share of the team. Meanwhile, Australian Nick Kyrgios could face a substantial fine and or suspension after calling the ATP corrupt.
Roofing and construction services. TSparkConstruction.com.
It's been many months since Hurricane Michael devastated our area. Many people are still dealing with the damages and finding it hard to get a local contractor to contact them. Are you struggling with getting assistance to fix your damages? Are you feeling like your insurance company is not being fair? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, we can help. My name is Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I'm asking you to give us a call today for your free consultation. Let my company guide you through the process to get your home back to normal.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Cornerstone Tool and Fastener and Makita welcome back football season. And to kick it off, we are bringing the best deals of the year. Buy a brushless premium Makita 5-amp-hour kit, get an instant $50 gift rebate, and your choice of another bare tool free. Plus, we are adding in another 5-amp battery for free. That's 3 batteries and 3 tools. Check out our specials on cordless blowers, chainsaws, compressors, and so much more. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. Online at ctf.nu.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, a proud partner of the Hendrick Automotive Group. 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 trucks up to $50,000 off MSRP. Plus, get a 20-quart Orca cooler when you buy any new GMC truck. We are professional grade on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag, or shop DaleJuniorGMC.com. Cooler valued at $199. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
A Sport Clips Championship haircut experience makes you feel like your hair has its own walk-up music. Maybe you play sports. Maybe you play sports online. Or maybe your sport is keeping up with your kids. Your hair deserves its own walk-up music, and at Sport Clips, we make it easy. A game-changing cut from a stylist trained for guys while you're surrounded by sports. Hair this good needs no introduction, but you'll want one anyway. So download the app, check in, and get your hair in the game.
Text Fan Cave to 66555 and enter to win an ultimate Fan Cave experience from Bud Light, an over $1,500 prize giveaway. Text Fan Cave to 66555 or visit tryeaglesales.com. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Tri-Eagle Sales.
AAA Tree Experts has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer landscaping? AAA landscaping services include custom outdoor landscape, creative landscape design and architecture, hardscapes, waterscapes, retention walls, and French drains, irrigation and sodding, landscape and holiday lighting. Call them today for all your outdoor landscaping needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping.
Are you looking for a trucking company you can work with till retirement? If so, join the Early Trucking family that has been trucking for over 25 years. ETC is now hiring regional dry van drivers. Benefits include working with new equipment, a $60,000 average salary, paid time off and sick leave, driving primarily no-touch freight, and running mostly in the Southeast. Plus, a 34-hour restart at home each week. ETC offers a benefit package that's second to none, including 401k, Blue Cross Blue Shield Health, vision and dental insurance, and a $25,000 life insurance policy while employed. Go to earlytruckingcompany.com to fill out an application. Help ETC keep agriculture in motion.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. JRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Oh, by the way, that's a pretty damn full slate for Thursday. Thursday being tomorrow. Lest we forget that Cincinnati started the Chip Kelly era off on the wrong foot at UCLA just a year ago as Cincinnati went into Los Angeles and knocked off UCLA. And UCLA went on to win all 3 games. Cincinnati's got a good football team again this year. When you're looking at the group of 5 teams that stand out, obviously you start with UCF. You follow it up with Boise State. Perhaps this year it's flipped. Don't know. Boise State, the best resume of the bunch over the last decade or so, but UCF emerging as the most serious contender to reach a college football playoff the last couple of years out of that group of 5. But Cincinnati's really good and is just a slight favorite, again, this time hosting the game against UCLA tomorrow. So mark it down. Plenty of games to choose from. You get the Holy War as well tomorrow night, which for me is the game that I'm most excited to watch between BYU and Utah. Utah considered to be a team that has a shot out of the traditional favorites that you see mentioned for the playoff. They're not in it, but they're the next level that people will circle and say, because of their offensive line, which many consider certainly to be the best in the conference and one of the best in the country, they too will be on display tomorrow night. Another game, a game that I guess, doesn't necessarily have major ramifications, but a chance to get a glimpse of two ACC teams takes place tomorrow night as well, with Clemson being a heady favorite, obviously, over Georgia Tech and their new coaching staff. Good hire in the offseason for Tech. Going to take some time to build what they're trying to do as they transition from the option to more traditional football. But in the interim, they have to play Clemson at Clemson and be 36-point underdogs. That's a christening of sorts. I would guess that Clemson will beat that ass. But you can watch it on the all-new ACC network if you have Hulu Plus.
Yeah, in some
YouTube
households.
TV,
Yeah, in some
or
households.
a bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not all the households here in town, not even by a long shot.
That's what you get there. Would also mention that Florida A&M goes to UCF. That's a 7:30 kickoff. Would love to believe, even for a second, that FAMU has a chance to make this a reasonably close game. They don't. They won't. That's a beatdown, unfortunately. Get your paycheck and ride the hell out. Hopefully, knock on wood, stay healthy. More than anything else, you want to scare the MEAC. You got to knock on wood and hope that you walk out of that game, which will be one-sided against UCF, but certainly walk out of it healthy. And that's what I'm hoping for FAMU. Well, I'm hoping for a stunner, but we're not going to get it. So there's that. I didn't realize that, again, not all games that you're flocking to see. That 10-15 game tomorrow night will leave us all tied on Friday morning, but BYU Utah is worth staying up for at 10-15, especially if Utah, ranked number 14 in the country, is going to scare a playoff spot. The only other game that I think a lot of people, now I say the only other game, you guys listening to this know as a sporting guy or gal, many of these games could be interesting, if not all of them could be fascinating. But throw in the mix there that you do get a chance to watch Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M in a nothing game in which they are heavily favored as an 8:30 kickoff on the SEC network against Texas State's sorry ass. Should be a 50-point romp there, but if you'd like to watch them play football, you get an opportunity to. That should be a good team with a brutal schedule. Save for that game, I don't know that you're flocking to watch Charlotte and Gardner-Webb or Florida International and Tulane, Alabama State and UAB, Wagner and UConn. But like I said, it's a sizable slate. Albany and Central Michigan, Buffalo and Robert Morris, Northern Colorado and San Jose State. Perhaps you decide to tune into a Minnesota game on the Big Ten Network or Arizona State, both of whom play tomorrow night late. You have opportunities to watch a lot of football, Tom. That's all I'm saying. And when you're football starved, you think to yourself, Western Kentucky hosting Central Arkansas may indeed be a draw.
I think that North Carolina and South Carolina should just play every Thursday before the first real weekend of college football. Let's just affix that at the beginning of the schedule.
You want that to be a permanent fixture, much like Thanksgiving with the Packers playing somehow, or Detroit. Yeah.
It's just good enough to where it's not a clash of the Titans, but it'll catch your attention every year. Oh, a little ACC, SEC. Okay, I see what's going on here.
I would also apply that same standard to Utah and BYU. Give me a rivalry game. Give me the Holy War. We have a doubleheader every year, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Utah, BYU. Little taste of loving right there.
There it is.
There you go. I like it.
And with that first game, you can alternate back between the ACC network and the SEC network based upon the home team. Or if you want to play it in Charlotte every year, whatever. Just give the networks a piece of the pie both times. I think people would get excited for that every year. You ready to watch the old North Carolina, South Carolina game? Sure. Wouldn't care in October, but I love it in August.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm loving several games on the docket for tomorrow. Unless we forget, tomorrow kicks off not only Redemption Thursday, but a whole 4-day bonanza of football because there's a lot on the line on Friday. You got a lot of Friday games, Tom. Army is hosting Rice. Wisconsin goes down to South Florida for a football game on a Friday night. A little whiskey, South Florida. What are you doing there, watching? Yeah,
sweating.
That's what you're doing.
That's what you're doing if you're at that game.
7 p.m., sweating, betting, drinking, having a good time. Utah State, Wake Forest on the ACC network.
Oh, great.
There you go.
That's great.
Another big-time contest
big one.
on a Libations Friday. Purdue at Nevada. Colorado State-Colorado rivalry game on ESPN at 10 o'clock at night. You're watching, I'm watching, we're watching.
I will, because it's on ESPN.
You'll also be watching on FS1 when Oklahoma State goes to Oregon State, takes on the Beavers.
That's a lot of orange.
That is a lot of orange, and that's a lot of football. Think about what I just laid out there before you. In all honesty, I'll just pick the ones. I won't go crazy. But if you're filling out your card, and I'm not talking about just for betting purposes, Tom, but if you're filling out your card, you're viewing,
the old TV guide.
You're deciding, that's right, you're highlighting the TV. My dad, if he could, still would. I mean, I think he knows it makes him look old, but deep down he wants to do that. He desperately needs to do that. He wishes the TV guide would come in and he could get his highlighter and sit in his chair, and he'd have a tasty beverage, and he'd go, "Hold on, not now, hon. I'm highlighting the programming for the week."
Does he know all of the the network channels at his own, like in his own man cave? Like some people just know, these days, well, that game's on FS1, that game's on ESPN.
Right.
But he knows the actual channels. If you say, "Dad, what's FS1?" He'd be like, "Oh, it's
450.
7." Okay, he would know. Yeah. Okay. Well, then maybe what we should do is send him the slate.
And then
every week.
For him?
Well, no, and then he can highlight what he wants. But we build it anyway.
Yeah,
when we do
do
the wash and watching feature.
Yep.
So maybe we should just send that to him every week so he can do that.
If you want to
gift him a couple highlighters,
I like that. No, he would. He would actually be touched by that because I think it matters to him. I believe if I were to sneak into his house in Georgia right now, and without him knowing I was there, if I were to go over to his chair, which he does have, and look in that side pocket, I'd find a highlighted TV guide. I think they still come in the mail somehow.
They still exist?
I think so. Like on Sundays of the Sunday paper, I think you can get some sort of TV guide. I think
they probably do well in the retirement homes.
I'm sure. That's why folks can't get used to apps. Like old people, they want something tangible. Oh, no.
Got to be able to flip the page.
Want to be able to flip. Yeah, right. Anyhow, but if I were writing up the card, I'm going UCLA at Cincinnati and seeing if Cincinnati can sweep Chip Kelly's sorry ass and send UCLA down the road to another 8-9 loss season, which appears to be likely. By the way, does anything have more disaster written all over it than that marriage? Anyhow, for all of the look at second-year coaches that we see on ESPN and every preseason magazine, how come he doesn't get mentioned? Is it that nobody cares at all about UCLA football? I think that might be the answer.
That's probably the answer. And the funny thing about it, and the reason I think you're absolutely
won
right.
3 games.
It's because he's already played this hand. He's a one-trick guy, and everybody uses that now with the up-tempo, so he's not unique in terms of schematics.
It's just interesting, man.
If they see that, they're like, "Oh, Chip Kelly system." Well, I know that.
That's the system.
I ran it in high school.
Now. Yeah. All right, UCLA at Cincinnati. I'd circle it and watch it. Then I would follow it up if I could. I might tune in briefly in the first quarter to see if Florida A&M's hanging around with UCF. In truth, I think I would maybe do the same, frankly, a quarter, Clemson and Georgia Tech. But then obviously the next big one that I'm circling is Utah and BYU. So there you go, just a little 3-game action, some middling there. Maybe look at some potential wagers. Not a lot on the slate there. FIU Tulane, maybe a little bit of money there. We'll see. Probably take a glimpse at Texas A&M. Flipping around, just a glimpse. Just a glimpse.
I don't know.
Good football team.
I think that's the one where you're like, SEC Network. What's on there? Oh, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, this one.
ESPN.
All right, and then on Friday, I'm tuning in to Wisconsin and South Florida. I'm not watching Tulsa and Michigan State. I can't think of anything more boring than that. But I'm watching Wisconsin and South Florida. I am definitely tuning into the score fest that is going to be Utah State and Wake Forest on the ACC network. And then, I'm staying up late. I'm watching Colorado State, Colorado, and Oklahoma State, Oregon State. We're having a good day. It's a good night. I'll toast you on a Friday night, let you know at halftime what I think about that Colorado State action, whether or not I'm going to cover.
That's a tasty slice of pecan pie.
Well, you know how I am about these late night games. You kind of you take a little respite, do something with the family, maybe go out to eat, come back. You're like, what do we have here? Children off to bed. Dad's got football to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's late night football.
What's that muffled noise, Dad? That's the fridge, son. There's something in the fridge calling your dad.
And then I'm not getting up first thing Saturday morning to see Ohio State and Florida Atlantic.
That's the beer. It's calling.
Come on, let's watch Pac-10, Jeff.
Then you open the door.
Hey, guys, it's that year again. Which one of you want to be drank first as we watch the Pac-12?
Me.
Come on, Big Daddy, let's go.
All right.
Yay.
First of the year.
Woohoo.
That hurt my head.
Who do you got? Now, painful would be watching Akron and Illinois. This is what happens when the games haven't started. You do a whole segment on the games that are going to happen and how excited you are to see them and in what order. That might not be ideal, might be frowned upon, generally speaking, but I think people might have shared in the joy of choice there.
You'll have plenty of time to do what you want to do on Sunday. That Oklahoma-Houston rematch doesn't have the zest that it did last time those two teams played.
What's the game on Sunday?
Oklahoma-Houston.
Oh, yeah. Well, two really good quarterbacks. I don't know. I think that could be interesting. Nobody's going to stop anybody.
It'll be Holgerson, Hurts, and then you'll watch 10 minutes of it and go, all right, let's find something else.
So what do you think? What do you think that game is? I haven't even looked at the over-under on that one, but I got to imagine that's an astronomical number. I don't know.
Probably the spread plus 17.
I mean, it's
because I don't know that Oklahoma's going to handle business.
7 o'clock on ABC at Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma, buddy.
Ugh.
You're just not happy. Well, I'm just as unhappy about Notre Dame and Louisville on a Monday night.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is my annual rant. You've got an open Sunday. The NFL can't wait in December to give you Saturday games.
Well, they give it to and they give it to you this upcoming week. A fourth preseason game for these teams is absolutely useless in the NFL, and it's never been rendered more useless as coaches have proven. They simply do not care to play these games. They pull all of their starters. Those games are unwatchable. I can't bring myself to do it.
If you're going to schedule patsies in week 2 anyway in college football, then you got to give me a triple header on Sunday. Give me a triple header of good games because most people, we don't, but most people have Monday off. I mean, that's your day. It's the one Sunday a year where you can stack that thing nice. Triple header.
But you are like me. I don't think we want too good of games on a Sunday. Like, what games do you want? I mean, you don't want
kickoff classics.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want a major matchup. Like, could you give me a little Fresno State, USC, Virginia at Pitt, Virginia on, there you go.
Well, years ago, I was at the Texas Notre Dame game. That was a Sunday. But you're telling me that you can't have 3 of those? Because a lot of years what you'll have, and this slate stinks on Saturday compared to years past.
Yeah.
But you'll have the one in Houston that nobody really knows what it's called, and then you have the Jerry's World game.
That's right.
But those are two kind of good
what
games.
Is this? Yeah.
Those are two kind of good games, and they would run concurrently. You're like, why couldn't you just play one of these on Sunday, man?
Well, the highlight of the weekend is Oregon and Auburn, except for, obviously, our game against Boise State. But, I mean, that's... I think for the nation, it's Oregon and Auburn.
Oh, absolutely. We are TVB, and we're interesting, but we're not Oregon and Auburn.
It is so weird to be that team, but we are certainly that, and I've felt that way over the years about Georgia. I've felt that way over the years about Wisconsin. Certainly I've felt that way over the years about a Texas A&M or a Texas. These teams that get preseason hype, that have names, that have some cachet, who oftentimes prove early in the season that they're once again going to have a middling season and do nothing of any significance. We're that team to the nation this year. Let's see if Florida State's about to bounce back. They haven't really mattered in the last 3 years. They have had a precipitous drop-off since their national championship victory. And Boise could be the kind of team that exposes whether or not they're any good. I'll flip over there every now and again. Oh, look at that, 7-7 in the second. Guess Florida State sucks again this year. That's what we are to the nation right now.
Sorry, boys, I didn't.
It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Results. Well, welcome to Orangetheory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orangetheory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orangetheory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orangetheory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hello, Eddie. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I guess we got to do this commercial.
Time for the bantering to begin.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? I want something different now.
You don't want to banter anymore.
I enjoy the banter. I do. But I want theme music, Jeff. Gordo's needs theme music.
Gordo's, the restaurant, the delicious food and the people and the atmosphere. Gordo's, not you personally, but Gordo's.
Yes,
I like
Gordo's, not me. I mean, of course, I would love to have people following me around playing music all the time.
Especially at Gordo's.
It's always in my head. But I need something for Gordo's. I need to have something special, something that, heck, the King of the Hill has his own theme music. The Kids in the Hall. Why not me? Why not Gordo's?
Why not Gordo's? All right, I guess I'm going to be looking for some theme music.
You mean you're going to have Tom looking for some theme music?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep, get on it, Tommy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
For young people, education can be a guiding light. It provides a path to achieve their dreams. That's why the Florida Lottery proudly supports the Bright Futures Scholarship Program, helping over 800,000 students attend college. And we want to continue creating brighter tomorrows. If you're a current Bright Futures scholar or Florida educator, visit flalottery.com/brightfutures to let us know how we can help you shine even further.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Man, it's definitely summer. And with the heat wave, it's hard to keep my cooling costs down.
Have you checked out the many products and services the City of Tallahassee Utilities offers to help you save energy, water, and money?
What kind of products and services?
Well, the city offers ceiling insulation grants, energy efficiency loans, free energy audits, budget billing, and energy retrofit grants, which can help enhance energy efficiency and lower your bill. And the Weather Relief Assistance Program, or WRAP, is also available right now, which also offers a one-time payment option that lets you defer a portion of your bill until October.
Wow, I had no idea. Where can I find out more?
Simple. Visit talgov.com/YOU.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities connects you to more than electricity. With a variety of options to choose from, you can find products and services that help you save energy, water, and money. More options, more products, more savings. Visit talgov.com/YOU or call 891-4968 to learn more.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. In the wake of Andrew Luck's retirement and Rob Gronkowski's retirement, does the NFL need to brace for a trend? ESPN's Field Yates says probably not, but the lessons of these two retirements are important.
What makes these athletes so unique and rare and at the best, at the top of their game. But I think that these past few days have helped open up the narrative that, like, the importance of player wellness maybe is sometimes overlooked, because in some ways we want them to be the people that can be, heroic on Sundays or in other sports, multiple nights during the week. That I think it's a healthy conversation that we've had regarding the lack of health that players are dealing with in some cases.
Field Yates on Golick and Wingo. 49ers running back Jerick McKinnon is trying to come back from a torn ACL, but his status is up in the air now after a setback in practice on Tuesday. Royals owner David Glass is hoping to sell the team to a group led by local businessman John Sherman. The selling price would be right around $1 billion. Sherman is currently a minority owner of the Indians, and he'd have to sell his share of the team. Meanwhile, Australian Nick Kyrgios could face a substantial fine and or suspension after calling the ATP corrupt.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well, man. Hold my breath. It seems like every time I check the NCAA football news during breaks, you find out about somebody else either being injured, not able to play, some sort of suspension. Not for us necessarily. Just talking about across college football, some dicey headlines. Not all of them involving players, but a lot of them involving big-time programs. Obviously, that Penn State story is something to monitor in the coming weeks, where you have, Franklin saying the doctor's crazy. I never encouraged anybody to play while injured. He's saying, no, you did. That's not good. Penn State's seen enough. They've got to be like, really? We're going to do this again, guys?
Well, it hasn't parlayed the way they hoped it would when they signed James away from Vandy.
Well, he's done listen, they went from insignificant to being back on the stage there for a time. I know Trace McSorley, that team, they thought that.
They thought that.
No, but they mattered. They mattered a little bit. They became, again, a story. They weren't, in contention to win a national title, but they became a story again.
Not exactly recruiting with the upper crust, which is what they were hoping, because that's
what he
speciality
does, right?
of his.
Yeah, well, we shall see. Just at this point, again, you get this far along and you've made it through camp. You don't need anything crazy. Now, unfortunately for us, maybe nothing crazy happens with players as far as injuries or suspensions or anything like that, but we do have this worrisome storm that, I think is on the minds of most right now, and you don't want to overstate things. We live in a world where so frequently that is the case. Everything is on the extremes, and you get tired of it, and tends to cause you to drown out things that might be pertinent, things that might matter, because you figure that there's a lot of overreaction happening. But when it's something like this, you can't really be too careful, and so we're monitoring that. I won't pretend to tell you that I'm a weatherman or anything close to it, but I'm certainly following those, tracking those cones of uncertainty and the various paths, and the problem is right now you've got so many projections.
Yeah, the thing is, from yesterday to today, the good news would be that it's slowed down a little bit, and so the arrival time of the winds is much later compared to when we were talking around 4 o'clock yesterday. That bodes well for the chances of playing in Jacksonville at some point on Saturday. The bad news is landfall, they thought, as of yesterday, certainly the day before, tropical storm force winds would be the nature of the storm when it lands. And that Space Coast area, that's where the middle of the cone of uncertainty was. Today, they think it's going to be a major hurricane, a Category 3 or stronger. So you're playing a bad news, good news game here, and hopefully these updates as we head into the night tell us that the storm is weakened, but you're at the mercy of waiting at this point. It's a hurry up and wait game, and with hurricanes, it truly is a wait, then hurry up kind of game.
Well, it's frustrating because you're right, and you always worry about the results of landfall and all of that and what happens there. But yes, we thought we'd wake up to the news that it had been slowed down and that it was going to peter out and that at worst it was a tropical storm. Instead, you woke up to the news that it's strengthening and instead of slowing down, only getting, elevated to a hurricane, Category 1 currently. And as you mentioned, moving towards a Category 2 and 3 by the time it does hit. What's going to happen for Jacksonville? What's going to happen with this football game? I mean, this is a sports talk show, so I know a lot of people have travel plans, us included. A lot of people, hotel rooms all set up, weekend plans, all of that. It's very important that they get out in front of this and make a decision early on. I think to your point, it certainly sounds like if we're only talking about a football game being played, kicked off 7 o'clock, prime time, Florida State, Boise State, and how the weather impacts that game, not much. Doesn't look like much at all. Looks like that game could go off without a hitch and that you, at worst, are dealing with some mild winds and some precipitation. But that's not the only thing you have to look at, of course. You have to look at the follow-up, the travel plans for all involved, the people that fly into Jacksonville, then have to fly out of Jacksonville. Obviously, anybody who drove to this game has to drive out. And you are talking about not long after that game concludes, potential problems with severe weather. And more importantly, even if Jacksonville is not directly affected, other people in the state having to use the highways and byways of Florida to flee only cause further congestion for those traveling post-football game, and you have to take that into consideration too. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't know what's going to happen, but these are the things that they're going to have to look at and project.
Well, and that's a more real possibility now of having to use the highways because yesterday it was a tropical storm. Most places along the coast of the state of Florida are prepared for a tropical storm.
Right. Nobody was being told that you might have to evacuate. Now they're telling certain areas of Florida you may have to evacuate. And how do you do that? Well, by car on the highways like 95. There's going to be a lot of people on those roads. So it's frustrating. I mean, again, not to be callous. People's safety is at risk here. You get that. It's just so frustrating. This is 4 years running. You wonder if you just, I said it before, I'll probably reiterate it later, but just you almost got to go into every early season game and project some sort of contingency plan. It sounds absurd, but I mean, it seems like that's where we're headed. Certainly for the fourth consecutive year.
I'll bet you if they had agreeing bye weeks, they would have made the switch already. I have a feeling that they would probably want to get out in front of it. But boys, I mean, because this is one of those weird years where you get 2 bye weeks. It's the way the Saturdays fall.
Sure.
But Florida State and Boise don't.
And they travel in tomorrow. Boise does. So they'll get into town and acclimate and go through their walkthroughs and all of that. As of right now, the university is saying that they're just closely monitoring and playing the game as scheduled. I guess if you and I were going to bet on an alternative plan, it would just only be, I think, from what we're hearing, to move game up.
You wouldn't even have to. I mean, I haven't heard a thing, and I would say that that's where the smart money would be, because you got to give people a chance to leave by the evening. If people are migrating from Tallahassee for the game, right? They're traveling over for the day, or they're making a day trip from anywhere in the Southeast.
Yeah, they got to be free to get back.
This gives them a better chance just to leave after the game concludes, rather than staying the night in Jacksonville and potentially getting stuck there. And the people I feel for, though, are those that are traveling from major parts of the country that are flying in. They're going to arrive Saturday morning or something along those lines.
Flying in, I mean, we have people ride in, and it's their first game. They're excited. They made the trip because Jacksonville is easy to access, unlike Tallahassee. So, one rider, one kid, I don't know if it's a kid or a man, sorry, I don't know the person, wrote in that they've been a Florida State fan their whole life, never been to a game. They're coming in from Texas, and they're flying in. Well, I'm sure it was pretty easy to get a flight into Jacksonville, much easier than Tallahassee. This is perfect for them to be able to do that. We know throughout the state you can fly to Jacksonville. Anywhere in the south, anywhere in the eastern part of the United States, it's an easy flight. A lot of people are doing that. They're monitoring this a lot closer, even though they're not going to be directly affected by the winds in terms of where they live. But certainly their travel plans are. I mean, you got to cancel flights. You got to figure out, can you get out in time?
Yeah, if it were me given this information, and they're starting to hone in a little bit, they're starting to figure out, I think the next update that comes, which would be, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes, and then the two that come tonight, this cone, which is literally the size of Florida, the cone of uncertainty, is the size of the state.
Of Florida. It's the whole
into
state.
South Carolina. It's
it's a banana. It's just
all
a
right,
state. Yeah.
Miami, you're on alert. Jacksonville, you're on alert. Everywhere in between, on alert. How about the Carolinas? Yep, little piece of those. Be ready. We just don't know. I would think by the wee hours of the morning, we'll have a much better scale. I think it's like the margin for error. If you're Alabama, the margin for error is the size of the cone of uncertainty for Dorian. If you're Florida State, it's like once they know the track and they go back and they look at it in history, that's our margin for error. So we'll see. We'll see. But by tomorrow morning, I think we'll have some answers.
Bottom line is this. As for Boise State, a 10-win team a year ago, they went 7-1 in the Mountain West. They do lose their top passer. If you're trying to get familiar with the roster, they lose Rippon, who was a guy that averaged 285 yards passing a game. They're going to start a true freshman at quarterback. You'd like to think that gives Florida State a distinct advantage. They lost top receivers. They lost two running backs that they, obviously got a lot of production out of. They feel good as a team, again, coming into this neutral site matchup, neutral site, quote unquote, because they have a stout offensive line. They return all 5 starters there. They've concluded each of the last 2 seasons as the highest-ranked school from the group of 5 and the IMG Directors' Cup standings, however you want to look at that. Mm-hmm. This is a team that is consistently a dominant team in their conference. It's the first time the two teams have ever played. I've wanted to see this game. There's talk that if this game is canceled the way the contract is written, that Florida State could then cancel the return trip to Boise. That is out there in the ether, and believe me, it pisses me off to even talk about. Now, on the surface, that's not a game, and I understand where this is going, but that's not a game you would ever play or schedule. It's a really no-win proposition. There's no reason to go out to Boise and play that football game. It's a stadium of less than 40,000. It's just there's no recruiting advantages to going out there and playing that game whatsoever. If you're going to play out-of-conference games against relatively high-profile teams, do it in an area where it can affect recruiting and help you, where you would want your brand to be seen and have an opportunity to influence some talented young men to come to Florida State. Boise, Idaho ain't it. From a fandom standpoint, I shudder to think. I've waited all this time. We're set up to do it. We're also past that point now where unless this thing is canceled, which would apparently render the contract null and void, and we could opt out, which I tell you what, if they cancel this game, we are going to opt out. I guarantee it.
You think so?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You guarantee it, or you think that it just makes sense?
I'm making a statement based on what I know to be true, not that they've told me they'd opt out, but there's nobody over there who wants to play that game. Fisher was pissed at the time that it got scheduled. He thought, what the hell are we doing? It doesn't make any sense to do
Boise?
It. Well, no, it just doesn't make any sense to do it. I can't wait to – I've been wanting that game for the longest, and it was endearing to me when we had B.J. Raines on, and he said that's the most anticipated game in the state of Idaho in the history of the state. Like, they couldn't wait for that game. And they can't – they talk about it nonstop. It's funny. He said that fan base – and the people that follow that program closely obviously take great pride in the fact that they've built something of a name for themselves over the years in college football as the upset kings and all that. They know this game's being played this weekend. They're like, yeah, let's see how we do. But next year, that's all they keep talking about. They can't wait their town hosting that game with this team, a blue blood of college football. And the thought of that getting canceled at this late stage really does bother me, even though I know it doesn't make any sense to play that game. Just being a fan, I like seeing new places. I like dealing with new fan bases and seeing universities and going to cities that I've never had an opportunity to see before.
Yeah, but then we can schedule a home game with the Mocs. We can get Chattanooga to come down here and tack that onto the season ticket plan because we've got a good home slate.
Yeah.
Make some more money.
Yeah, I really am hoping.
Come on, let's substitute the Broncos for the Mocs.
No, we're not doing that. We're going to go play that game. We're going to take great pride in our commitment to playing that game.
We're going to perhaps win that game.
Probably go win that game. Travel out there and do our thing, buddy.
You're not saying most likely, though.
No, I got to see us play football this year. As an aside, selfishly speaking, very, very selfishly speaking, screw this storm. There is football to be played. We need to get on with the getting. I want to see some football. I get it. People's lives are at stake. I'm not trying to be, callous here.
The cone of uncertainty goes from Miami to South Carolina.
Yeah. Great. There's a cone of uncertainty about how we're going to play football this year, and I'd like to get that removed as quickly as possible by playing a damn football game against a reasonably decent opponent, and that's what you have scheduled in just a couple of days, and this damn storm is going to screw it up for all of us.
Sorry, boys, I didn't.
This.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, tsparkconstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Infinity of Tallahassee, where the end of summer savings have been extended and run all month long, and the deals on SUVs have never been hotter. So listen up. Before you buy an Acura RDX or the BMW X3, you need to look at the 2019 Infinity QX50 with 1.9% interest for 72 months and $1,750 customer rebate. You'll save over $5,000. Kraft Infinity, our third row 7-passenger 2019 QX60s start at an unbelievable $39,900. Compare that to an Audi Q5 or an Acura MDX. And our flagship SUV, the full-size QX80, has 0% interest for 72 months. That's free money for 6 years. Plus, you'll save over $10,000 versus Cadillac Escalade or the Lexus LX 570. Infinity of Tallahassee. Finally, the Highline experience you deserve is brought to you by the Kraft Brothers. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill. Interest rates with approved credit. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
I wrote this next song for a gal from Cheyenne. Should never have told her how Progressive's collision insurance covers injured dogs and cats. She said if they could love her pooch as much as she did, then so could I. Well, I couldn't. This next song's called Cat Person. It was a rough, rough night in Wyoming. The cat was out of the bag.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Pet coverage not available in New Hampshire and North Carolina.
AAA Tree Experts has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer landscaping? AAA landscaping services include custom outdoor landscape, creative landscape design and architecture, hardscapes, waterscapes, retention walls, and French drains, irrigation and sodding, landscape and holiday lighting. Call them today for all your outdoor landscaping needs. 850-385-3319. Or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping.
Hendrick.
Get to the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet, a proud partner of the Hendrick Automotive Group. Shop the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Find new roads in a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $15,000 off MSRP. Plus, get a 20-quart Orca cooler with the purchase of any new Chevy truck. New management, new buying experience, same Chevy. Come see us on Tennessee Street. Shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Cooler valued at $199. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Hey, sports fans, the 2019 baseball calendars are out. We would like to thank our patrons who help make this possible. Bowles Roofing, Gay Mechanical Contractors, Destination Real Estate, Seminole Shell, Big Chief Tobacco, Big Bend Upholstery, BJ's Party House, College Corner Shell, The Iron Inkwell, and Angie Home Services. This announcement is brought to you by Prestige Marketing, LLC. For information on our programs, visit www.prestigemarketingllc.com.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hang in there. Almost there. Balls McWednesday edition of the program. Don't forget tonight, Front Row Knowles. That's right. Boys getting together. Game week, we think. To inform and entertain. It will be good. I'm sure of it. Huge slate of games starting tomorrow and Friday. Did you watch, or did you happen to see my Rafa tweet last night?
Your Rafa tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. It's about that time.
Time's up.
Yeah, time's up.
I mean, we've now reached that place, man. And at least there's not a weave going on. He's just straight up wearing the bandana and hoping they don't do any aerial shots before he serves.
Oh, that's like Phil.
Yeah.
Time has been up. He colored that thing extra dark.
Extra dark, yeah. Yeah, there is a seemingly direct correlation to his rise on social media platforms and his poor play. Kind of inverse there. You get really good tweets and Instagrams and really poor play. Really poor play. That's kind of how that's worked for him.
I think he realizes it's time to shift the marketing to a different area.
Well, he's good at the other.
Yeah.
He's,
What's amazing to me, it's like it's been forgotten. Do you remember when they talked about, I bring this up on the show a lot, but the rheumatoid arthritis?
Well,
remember?
Yeah, but he
they said he couldn't stand and he couldn't play.
I think that was all true. He does the ads for whatever that medicine is he takes. He does. I don't know what that is. I have never had that.
But it's not even whispered about anymore. Not even when he's playing well or poorly on a given weekend in a broadcast. Nobody even talks about it anymore.
It gives me hope that if I ever get arthritis because of football injuries or injuries in general, that there's something you can take that will do as an effective a job as it's done for Phil Mickelson and others who suffer from that.
Given all the golf balls he's got to hit, and you have to squeeze the golf club in order to play the game.
Well, on that note, Tiger had arthroscopic knee surgery, had another procedure done yesterday, day before, whatever it was that they announced, and it kind of makes sense now that perhaps he wasn't at his best late in the year, not feeling real good swinging a golf club with a knee injury.
Right, but if Tiger has like a calf cramp, it's major news for 2 months.
Yeah.
And like Phil had this debilitating condition. They said he couldn't even stand up anymore.
Yeah, but that medication, I'm telling you,
all right,
seemingly did the trick, my man. That seems to be what is the point there. I don't know. That's a... It's a sad state of affairs, but he's not playing good golf. And yet, somebody I just read yesterday predicting that he'll win a major next year. Please. He's going to be 50 years old.
What, the Senior Open?
He may win a tournament, though. There's a couple of tournaments where you're allowed to just bomb away.
A lot of dudes can win tournaments.
I will say this, though. That club head speed did somehow magically improve dramatically in the last 2 years. You want proof about sports-specific exercising and how it is that no generation, no team from the 70s, for example, could ever beat a team from the early 90s, and how no team from the mid-70s could compete with an NFL team modern day. Just look at the sports-specific exercises that are done in individual and group sports. It's crazy the things they can do now to obviously specify muscle groups and certain types of things that you need to utilize to perform in your whatever the game may be. In this case, golf. But, I mean, it's nuts.
Well,
an old man got faster club head speed because of the workout regimen that he underwent.
Well, he's also in some of the best shape of his life. He's been happy to brag about that on
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shirtless photos by the pool.
Phil Mickelson with a shirtless photo.
Boobies, as I called him for years.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
It's amazing. That said, let's segue from Phil's breasts.
That's a great shirt.
That said, let's segue from Phil's breasts.
That's it. No context.
To Florida State football, where we are 14-2-1 all time in Jacksonville and have won 8 straight times in Duval, baby.
He's got game notes, people. He's got his game notes.
Well, we have to prep. We got to do our stuff, man. You get all this, what are you going to do? As they come in, you make note. You decide whether that's something you're going to use or not, and that's a stat we'd certainly
use. He's got
use.
the Cameron game notes. They're proprietary.
We would use them. 14-2-1. Domination over in Jacksonville. And then we all head to the Landing to celebrate. But not this year. Damn it, man.
You could pour one out where the Landing once was.
I should exit TIAA Bank Field along with the 67,838 alongside and make our way to...
Is that including concession workers, security personnel, and ushers?
That's if it's sold out. I'm not talking about a Jacksonville Jaguars football game, but this football game.
I think they said they're hoping for 50, and that number's probably going to reduce.
Dave Pasch has the call.
Dave Pasch is solid.
Dave Pasch is great.
Yeah.
Dave Pasch is the man. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I like Dave Pasch. I mean, I say looking forward to it. I'll be at the game, but when I go back and rewatch the game, I'm glad that it'll be Dave Pasch talking about it.
Depends on when this game is played. Who knows? It could be played concurrent with the show on Friday. We just don't know.
It's Dave Pasch and Greg McElroy. Tom Luganville on the sidelines, if you're wondering. Tom does a fine job. I feel about all sideline reporters the same, whether they're male or female. Useless.
Tom's just lining the paycheck because he does the recruiting stuff for their signing day coverage, too.
Now, let me just say this. You're talking about Luganville.
Yeah.
Not Block. But let me say this about our own Tom. No, it's okay if you would have accused Tom of lining the paychecks. the wallet.
I mean, good Lord. The contract for Front Row Knowles is incredible, may I say.
I'm saying Tom Block does sideline for us.
I was talking about Luganville.
No, I know you were. Yeah. But Tom Block is not useless. But the rest of the sideline reporters, it's just actually because the radio broadcast you can give more insight, and they are your radio broadcast. They're your team's broadcast. So there is an intimate understanding of each team, their depth chart, their coaches, because they're there around them all the time. So I do think there is something to a sideline reporter for a radio team, if you will. But for TV, it is so it's the same every time.
I think the funniest update I ever heard from Tom Block actually came from a spring game, and that was 2 or 3 years. It might have been the Orlando one, where actually, Malik Henry wore a Florida State uniform once upon a time and played in that
happened.
Game. DeAndre Johnson was in that game too, I think.
DeAndre Johnson.
I think. I forget. Maybe he wasn't the guy who was in that game. But Auden Tate was on the sidelines. Tom will correct me if I was wrong. But I think it was Auden Tate. He's calling out the opposition's plays. He wants to win the spring game so badly, but he knows the signals from the sideline that he's telling the defense what the signals mean. And just the way he said it, I was cracking the hell up. Tom's good with the dry humor.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's really good with the dry humor. He may not be, by the way, dry for this game. One thing we do expect, and I do wonder, that was well done, I do wonder how that affects Kendall Briles' play calling. And actually, I wonder how it affects Boise State's plan to do what they're going to do. Obviously, starting a freshman quarterback, I thought there might be more emphasis on the run game. But here's what you ask yourself. That other quarterback, the Cord kid, was said to be a far more mobile quarterback, was a running quarterback. And you do wonder now if we're going to get into strategy at all. I know right now we're just wondering about when they're going to play the game, where they're going to play the game, what time they're going to play the game, and all that stuff because of the storm. But strategically, I think you certainly have to look at this and say, are we going to be playing in extremely inclement weather? And if we are, how does that alter everything that you were planning to do coming into this game, if at all?
Well, and there's another reason, too, that you might want to think about moving the game up, not because of the impact it has on strategy, but let's just say, and the forecast earlier today in Jacksonville called for scattered thunderstorms in the evening. How long you want to be sitting through a lightning delay with, issues on the horizon, being that people are leaving the coastal parts of Florida, potentially?
Oh, please don't even utter it.
But that's the forecast, is scattered thunderstorms. If you had nothing behind it, that's fine. Spend an hour, do whatever you need to do. But you probably want to build some lead time for that, at the very least.
I may never go to another football game again. I'm telling you, if we are sitting there in a lightning delay for more than 7 minutes, that's it. I'm calling it a day. My couch is calling me. We'll just watch football games from afar. We'll be insulated in some sort of tank from here on out where we're able to watch games.
Be ready for it for the Bucs opening week. It's a 4 o'clock game in Tampa. What the hell are you doing? We've learned this lesson before. Well, actually, we haven't learned it, but we've at least been taught the lesson before. Where 4 o'clock in Tampa in September doesn't exactly mix.
You know how every year we get mad at Major League Baseball because they refuse to learn that you can't schedule early season games in the Midwest or the Northeast. That you have these, oftentimes you'll have a Southern team. You'll have the Rays go on the road to face the Tigers in Detroit the first week of the season. And I'm going, hello? What the hell is wrong with you? You can't send people to places where it's still freaking snowing. That's why nobody wants to live in those places, is that it's April and it's snowing. But they do. They screw it up every time, and they tell us that's just the way the schedule works. It's too hard to – no, it's not. I understand that it sucks for those teams. But early on, you send their asses south for baseball. Well, I'm starting to think that from here on out, can we just send all of our Southern teams north or into domes from here on out? If you're scheduling these early season Labor Day games, nobody can play outdoors in the South.
Or if you're in the South where you're used to the afternoon storms, to say nothing of the tropical, 10 a.m. kickoffs. It's a 10 a.m. season opener.
That was the proposal for the Pac-12 to try to gain some popularity, was to start kicking off at 9 a.m.
They're doing it, aren't they?
No, I don't think so. No, there was a big time back. There may be a game or two, but they're not doing this thing where they were actually going to try to schedule games where that would happen. And I thought, man, you talk about messing with a kid's clock. They practice a certain way every day, and they got to go out and play a game, and it's like they're just waking up. Not what you do, but it also shows a level of desperation for the Pac-12 that has not been able to fulfill a promise that things are going to be different this year. And maybe they will for Oregon. We'll see.
And because they have to respond, because ESPN has a stranglehold on 3:30 and 8 p.m. And so what time do you play?
Yeah, that's what
you got to get more viewers, more eyes, so you can sell to bigger sponsors and make more dollars.
Yeah. A little noon game in the East so that you get 9 a.m. in the West. Nice.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hello, Eddie. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I guess we got to do this commercial.
Time for the bantering to begin.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? I want something different now.
You don't want to banter anymore.
I enjoy the banter. I do. But I want theme music, Jeff. Gordo's needs theme music.
Gordo's, the restaurant, the delicious food and the people and the atmosphere. Gordo's, not you personally, but Gordo's.
Yes, I like Gordo's, not me. I mean, of course, I would love to have people following me around playing music all the time.
Especially at Gordo's.
It's always in my head. But I need something for Gordo's. I need to have something special, something that, heck, the King of the Hill has his own theme music. The Kids in the Hall. Why not me? Why not Gordo's?
Why not Gordo's? All right, I guess I'm going to be looking for some theme music.
You mean you're going to have Tom looking for some theme music?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep, get on it, Tommy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Don't wrestle alligators. You can't reason with them. There are plenty of other things to juggle besides chainsaws. Choose anything else. And when it comes to milk, always trust the smell test. These have been some live-long tips brought to you by the Florida Lottery. With the Week for Life scratch-offs, you can win up to $5,000 every week for the rest of your life. So you just have to live long and win on. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it!
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. Dale Jr. Buick GMC.com.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
That's the oddity, is that these storms, they take on a life of their own now. We all become obsessed with checking. It's like you're being tethered to your phone. Just constantly checking every 5 minutes to find out if there's any new information, because obviously it affects game times, game locales, travel plans, and everything else. Now I feel obsessed. Every break, I'm like, oh, anything new? Anything new? It's so freaking annoying. It's the very thing I tell my kids to stop doing. And now here I am. Well, I know this is responsible, but it's still
you're
annoying.
Not watching Minecraft videos at least.
Well, that I don't mind when they're watching Minecraft stuff because it involves strategy. But everything else, yes. I'm like, get it. They all watch. It's all about YouTubers, Tom.
It is.
Everything's about YouTubers.
Everybody wants to be one.
Well, I mean, frankly, if you could make a boatload of money just being a YouTuber, you should do it, because you don't have to have any talent whatsoever. But just people click. There you go.
Twitch away.
I suppose you do have to have some talent. I mean, to get millions of people to watch a video.
I hit buttons faster. My Halo skills, or what is it? Fortnite skills.
I'm looking at these models. There are so many. I'm telling you, there's somebody who should run a faux weather model site and have fun with it, like an Onion, like a fake news, like Onion. They should do this with a weather model site, because you can really get as in-depth as you want to. I mean, there are apps out there and everything else where you can monitor not just the winds, but pockets of winds in certain counties, along with, precipitation in this area as opposed to here, and the winds that come down from the north. And next thing you know, I don't know what I'm looking at and what it all means, but it is infinitely fascinating. Just as a piece of art, if I just had this up on one of those picture frames that digitally shows picture after picture on your roll because you plugged in the card, like that, if that was just up in my house, it'd be a thing that was really cool to look at every now and then, like a lava lamp. That's what these models look like, just big lava lamps.
So you just have a bunch of those, and in the middle of like 8 of those pictures in the slideshow, there's a meat cleaver, a cutting board, and just some substance. And you're like, what was that?
What was that? Nothing.
Oh, these are the weather maps. Welcome to my house.
Yeah, you can look at the Euro model, 120 hours from now. We can look at, there's the geopotential height, the MSLP, MB. There's all that stuff, man. That stuff is fun. Check out the wind field. I've downloaded an app for last year's storm that had all this stuff on it. And I was like, I spent a lot of time looking at it to see if I could decipher. I have no educational background in that, obviously, at all. But I thought, well, how hard could it be? Let's just look at this for a while. We'll decipher what this is. And I'm looking at it, and you convince yourself you have a clue. Somewhere, a few hours later, you're like, I really think this is going to go west. It's looking like this is going west. And if you say it authoritatively enough to people that haven't bothered to check that same app that you're on, they'll go, oh, okay, it's going west, is it?
They won't say, oh, okay. Most of them go, yep, I agree.
I think it is going to go west.
I think it is good, yeah.
It does sound, the more you look at that, it does look like it's westerly.
That's what I heard.
And then they tell their friends, I don't know, but I was around Jeff earlier today. He's got this crazy app, and he was studying that thing. He was thinking it's going west. Going west? Really? It's going west? Yeah, it's going to turn west. The next hour or two, you watch, that thing's turning west.
So I saw a good tweet recently, and you could see it over here, all these little red lines. They're actually L's, and I'm showing you the screen over here. See all those L's? Mm-hmm. And I'll put it on the camera.
I like it,
They can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all potential landing places at the same point in time.
Yeah, you're like, what am I doing here?
In a models ensemble.
Uh-huh.
So they're running all these different, simulations. And they're like, okay, so it could literally be like out to Louisiana, or it could be still on the east coast of Florida, for all we know, at the same point in time on Tuesday. So we don't know nothing right now, folks. But the whole state of Florida is within the cone of uncertainty. The whole state, east coast, all the way.
I'm looking for more phrases that make me laugh, that make you sound like you have a damn clue what the hell you're talking about. Well, I don't know. That may be true, Tom, but GFS is telling me something entirely different.
The GFS model, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just want to be able to say that to somebody. Mm-hmm. Well, you might be right, Bob, but GFS says something different.
Well, the GFS rate of coefficient and fractions, says it's a 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Have you looked at the UK MET? Because if you haven't, I don't know what to tell you.
Folks across the pond call it the UCMET.
I didn't want to confuse you, but you are correct. It is the UCMET. So you're on the same plane I am. We can have a logical discussion about where this storm is going. Nicely done. Now that I know you, too, fancy yourself a weather kind of guy.
It's the Tower of Babel.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Less than 1% is like free money. It gets better. 2019 Rogue Sports, you get 0% APR for 60 months. Now that truly is free money. Titan, $7,500 off MSRP. The kind of deals you come to expect from the craft dealerships. Real-life savings, not pie-in-the-sky promises that never come true. And that, my friends, is how Tallahassee will remain a Nissan town.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
It's football season in Florida's Panhandle, and the best place to shop for FSU apparel and merchandise is Garnet & Gold. Owned and operated by Seminoles for Seminoles for nearly 40 years. Garnet & Gold has a huge selection of FSU merchandise to serve you, the true Nole. Shop online 24/7 at garnetandgold.com. And on game days, visit us on West Pensacola Street, just 2 blocks from the stadium. And remember, we're always open at garnetandgold.com. Go Noles!
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. DaleJr.BuickGMC.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, Thursday and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Hardee's new 2-3 More breakfast menu is as easy as a walk in the park. $2 gets you a pair of cinnamon and raisin biscuits or a savory sausage biscuit. $3 gets you a tasty bacon, egg, and cheese on a made-from-scratch biscuit. And $4 gets you a hearty breakfast platter loaded with sausage and other breakfast classics. In fact, the new 2-3 More menu may even be simpler than a walk in the park. It's more like a walk in an airport, where they have those sidewalks that move for you. Pilots have it made. The new Hardee's 2-3 More menu. Offer available for a limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Tell me you didn't laugh aloud when you read the headline. Colts bring in veteran quarterback Osweiler for visit.
You know, I kind of did the same thing that we all do when we hear about somebody taking a shot to the man region. I went, ooh.
It's a toughie.
I checked. I said, am I okay? That feels like a kick to him.
The Colts are looking for a veteran backup quarterback to play behind Jacoby Brissett following the surprise retirement of Andrew Luck. The only other quarterbacks on the Colts roster at this time are Phillip Walker and Chad Kelly. Walker has never played a snap in a regular season game, and Kelly has been suspended for the first 2 games of the season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Yeah, he's not. Why is he on the roster? What are they doing? What the hell are the Colts doing?
Jim Irsay needed a guy to party with.
I think so. So from here, good luck. Meanwhile, the truth is, as Bucs fans, we can't laugh too much, not because of the quarterback situation, but because here you are in salary cap hell with a situation in which Jadeveon Clowney desperately wants out of Houston. The Texans seem prepared to trade him. The Bucs could really use a pass rusher, but they don't have the money, and the Dolphins look like they're going to be the team to step in and sign Mr. Clowney. That could help. That could help solve your pass rushing woes if you were able to bring him in, but alas, we cannot.
Yeah, it's too bad that JPP crashed into a wall just trying to get fancy with his car, because he did produce more than Clowney last year. More sacks, more tackles. But
pure dumbassery leads to a broken neck. I don't know how we don't get that money back. If you're going 100 whatever miles per hour in the rain and you spin your car into a wall like a dumbass, how do we not get relief from that?
I don't know. It feels like a USGA ruling. I'm sorry. No, you've committed.
I mean,
you've got to play your roster as it is.
I feel like teams should be able to void a guy's contract if he's at that level of dumbassery. It's called the dumbassery clause.
You make a compelling case, but I'm sorry. The salary cap hit is the salary cap hit, sir. You must pay him. Even if you cut him, there's still a little bit of a penalty for you.
I love that he's been cleared to participate, which we knew exactly why that would be, and he was there in floppy hat and all to ensure to try to make $7 million that he'll be owed if he's on the roster. Can't they just cut him, free up the space, let's move on? Damn it, man.
Oh, I'm fine, guys.
You ready to play?
Could you look over this way? No, I want you to keep your shoulders facing. I need you to look over here.
Look over here. Let's do some presses. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
The job done. Like $40 off your choice of a DeWalt 12-volt max drill or 12-volt max impact driver featuring DeWalt's all-new 12-volt battery platform, now just $99. And whether updating a property or building new homes, save up to 15% off select custom windows and doors. Whatever the day, whatever the job, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 9/1 U.S. only.
Your next haircut now has a shortcut. Introducing the Sport Clips Haircuts app. That's right, now the cut you want is just a tap away. Just download the app, check in at your neighborhood Sport Clips, and choose your Guy Smart stylist, and you're done. We'll text you when your stylist is almost ready. Then head to Sport Clips for a championship haircut experience. It's home field advantage for your hair. No appointment needed. Just download the Sport Clips app and check in. And don't forget a beard trim. Sport Clips. You choose the cut, we cut the weight.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, a proud partner of the Hendrick Automotive Group. 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 trucks up to $50,000 off MSRP. Plus, get a 20-quart Orca cooler when you buy any new GMC truck. We are professional grade on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag. Or shop DaleJr.GMC.com. Cooler valued at $199. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Florida State football is upon us, and Garnet Gold is your football-ready destination. With the latest Nike footwear, team-issued apparel, sideline headwear, and Nike coaches polos all in stock right now. Whether you're on the sidelines, in the stands, or watching the game at home, it's time to get football ready. Step up your wardrobe with a hot new line of FSU apparel in stock right now at all 3 Garnet and Gold locations. West Pensacola Street in Killarn near Fresh Market, or on Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, wear your store. Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. In the wake of Andrew Luck's retirement and Rob Gronkowski's retirement, does the NFL need to brace for a trend? ESPN's Field Yates says probably not, but the lessons of these 2 retirements are important.
What makes these athletes so unique and rare and at the best, at the top of their game. But I think that these past few days have helped open up the narrative that, like, the importance of player wellness maybe is sometimes overlooked, because in some ways we want them to be the people that can be, heroic on Sundays or in other sports, multiple nights during the week. That I think it's a healthy conversation that we've had regarding the lack of health that players are dealing with in some cases.
Field Yates on Golick and Wingo. 49ers running back Jerick McKinnon is trying to come back from a torn ACL. but his status is up in the air now after a setback in practice on Tuesday. Royals owner David Glass is hoping to sell the team to a group led by local businessman John Sherman. The selling price would be right around $1 billion. Sherman is currently a minority owner of the Indians, and he'd have to sell his share of the team. Meanwhile, Australian Nick Kyrgios could face a substantial fine and or suspension after calling the ATP corrupt.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Welcome in on a glorious Balls McWednesday. I say a glorious because it's that next step. You know, we're getting closer and closer. And also, baseball tonight and then followed it up by tomorrow's football action. We're only one day away, and then front row Knowles tonight. I mean, we're getting there. I feel like we're finally getting there. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do, go back, get caught up. All 3 hours posted every night upon the conclusion of the show. We put it on iTunes where you can go and find it, rate, review, and all that 5-star stuff. You can email us, jcs@979ESPNradio.com. We also put it in the archived audio, WTSM app, good for mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. And, on Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. I guess I would, we didn't get to follow it up yesterday, but I thought it was funny when Kendall Briles talked about, one, being shocked that Willie said that the offense didn't win the day, that the defense had won the day during the last practice. And then he said, well, yeah, I mean, we shot ourselves in the foot. And also when Marvin Wilson's out there. That reminded me because they interviewed defensive players today. We just don't talk about Marvin Wilson enough. He's apparently picking people up in practice with one arm since he's returned and throwing them to the ground. That actually, I was legitimately told that happened more than once the other day in practice. So this idea that, well, he's going to need to get some reps after missing some time. Let's see where he is with that knee, because you get nervous about that with a big man. He's picking people up with one arm and throwing them to the ground repeatedly. That doesn't say a lot about our guys, but I think it says more about him.
Probably because he's a freak, and obviously this frontline group, these first 3 guys that come off the sideline and onto the field, you got to love the down linemen. I mean, Durden showed a lot last year with his quickness.
Yep.
Stronger than you might think. Big Coop is obviously a perfect zero tech. I mean, he is just massive, and he's lost a lot of weight in the offseason. He's still over 340 pounds. And then you got Marvin. It's just, I think for me, if he has the year they're scheming him to have, right? Mm-hmm. Like if his athleticism allows him to be a true defensive end, a guy who kind of holds up against the run, but then obviously is able to make some plays in the backfield or laterally, this could skyrocket his draft stock, because now you're talking about a versatile player that carries 300 pounds like it's nothing.
You're right, by the way. When we saw him and interviewed him, and I've interviewed him twice now this offseason, once at the ACC meetings in Charlotte and again on Media Day here a couple weekends back, and he's just a massive human being. And at first when you noted that he could put more weight on that frame if you wanted, wasn't sure I agreed with you. But then seeing him not this weekend, but the weekend before, yeah, I think you're right. He could, if you really wanted to.
If, as an NFL franchise, you wanted to do what you needed to do in order to get him to play inside,
you could do it.
Yeah,
he's that kind of body type. He's a massive humanity, but he carries it well. I think he's going to have a monstrous year. I think he's a key to helping shut down, obviously, Boise State's run, because I think they're going to try to help out their quarterback an awful lot. Last year, teams, when they wanted to run against Florida State, I know what the run statistics say about Florida State's defense. They'll tell you that they were pretty good against the run. I'm not so sure. Against teams that wanted to run the ball, who had a better than average rushing attack. We didn't do a very good job of shutting down the run. Now against some other teams that weren't very good, maybe you had better luck. Part of the reason that some of the defensive stats can be skewed is that teams can kind of do what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of you pick your poison sort of thing, and then the other numbers wouldn't get racked up based on, well, we're going to attack you this way, because we can, and you really can't stop it. I think the teams that wanted to line up and run the football and establish that were able to do so. And I think Boise, with a freshman quarterback making his first ever start in college football, doing so on the road against a defense with speed, when you consider that they have a potential first-round draft pick at left tackle, a draftable guard who's figuring to go in the top 3 rounds. They want to run to their left side. They want to establish the run, 10 straight years of a 1,000-yard rusher, 2 backs that they're going to utilize in this game. They've already said that this week. They're going to run 2 different guys to try to replace a talented running back they lost a year ago. When we had B.J. Raines on, he said, look, they don't have a lot of experience. They've played, but they're good backs. I think they're going to come out and try to establish that run. Marvin's got to be great. Coop's got to be great. That front group has got to put them in second and long and put this freshman in an uncomfortable position.
Well, they've got to give the linebacking core a chance to come up and make plays. And what's one common complaint from either the Taggart regime or the Jimbo regime about linebacker play the last few years? We know they couldn't recruit it, but then what would be their complaint?
They were slow to trigger, yeah. They didn't.
Or they wouldn't fill the right gap?
Well, yeah, run fits have been a problem. They wouldn't take on blocks. They tackle well when they get their hands on somebody. They actually do. Statistically speaking, that's proven out, too, with the advanced analytics. They did tackle. In space, they tackle well. They just don't always trigger, and they don't always take on blocks.
Mm-hmm. A lack of willingness. And that's what happens, I think, over the course of a long season when your offense is terrible and you don't trust the player next to you to do the job. The combination of those two things might have you freelancing a little bit, but you can't have that. You can't have that this week, especially in a game one when you're trying to set the tone for the season and you're breaking in a couple new players. I mean, Lars Woodby was more of a slot guy last year, but if he's going to be making
plays,
on
weight. He looks good.
I know, but just talking about natural position. In college, you could probably get away with it, obviously.
I think so.
But is he willing to get up there like a linebacker should? We thought we were going to have an Emmett Rice type or a Jaleel McRae type standing next to Dontavius Jackson this year. Instead, you get somebody who's big for the position, but is he naturally a linebacker in terms of his mentality? This is a really good chance to find out early on.
I also think Dontavius Jackson's going to have a good year. I do. He came on last year, played the most consistent of all of our linebackers. He wasn't great, but he was good. And I think he has a chance to be pretty damn good this year because he has a little help now.
Well, he showed signs, too, in the Boston College game of being that type of inspirational leader. Somebody who plays
big time, yeah.
To the echo of the whistle. Like, usually you want to follow somebody who plays tough, right? Jalen Ramsey was such a freak for that reason as a corner and a slot defender or safety. He'd come up and he'd finish a play like he was the size of a traditional middle linebacker like a Dontavius Jackson. And so you follow that type of player. So Dontavius has a little bit of leadership to him heading into the offseason. Maybe he comes out of it and you see that he's the quarterback of the defense and he's able to rally the guys a little bit. But if you look at Pro Football Focus last year, it says that Dontavius is one of the best run-stopping linebackers in all of college football who's coming back and playing again this year.
I'll tell you what's funny is to listen to our defensive players talk. Already Marvin Wilson is attacking this game as if we were underdogs. That's probably the put-upon mentality that group has, given that was a terrible defense a year ago. And obviously 5-7, the team was terrible across the board. They were put in really awful positions as well. But I think you see across the board they're looking at it as, yeah, we might be favorites to win this game, but nobody expects much of us, period. And that's why you hear Marvin Wilson say silly things like we're going to shock the world. I don't think he means about this game. I think he's talking about the season. And I hope so anyhow, because you're not shocking the world if you win as a favorite at home against, pseudo home game against Boise State. But I do like to hear Jaden Lars Woodby and guys like that. His comment today was about dominating the game. He thinks that they have guys this year who are willing to stick their head in there and bring that sort of mentality to try to dominate offenses, which they didn't have a year ago. Felt like they were hanging on for dear life last year. He didn't say that, but that's implied in that comment.
Well, between Marvin's comments and Terry's comments and Woodby's, I can't click the pens fast enough because we've heard it in preseason before. This is the type of lip service you get for a media day or the week before a game. I remember Derwin James saying, just put on your TV. Just turn it on and you'll see. Nah, man. You got to go out there and prove it. I'm glad you have that mentality. I do have to see it, though, first.
Yeah.
I think there is, even though this is two things can be true at the same time, right? You got to see it. I do think there is merit to the fact that they feel better about themselves. Everybody seems to have a quiet confidence to go along with some players having some brash moments in media availabilities the last week and a half.
Harlan Barnett was somewhat subdued when we spoke to him last week. He was excited, and he believed his team was better equipped from a depth standpoint, a talent standpoint, to go out and play much better defense, the kind of defense he wants to see played. But it's almost like he wanted to unleash a secret weapon, almost like he thought, the less we talk about it, the better. I'm not so sure they're that. I think that this is a grand experiment. I would prefer our guys not talk about domination, not talk about this is what we're going to do. Go do it. Everything else in this offseason, including Willie's decision, whether it's a minimal impact or not, to just simplify things. This uniform for home, this uniform on the road. We're not going to be swag surfing before the game.
What does that even mean?
All that dancing they were doing on the sidelines before the kickoff.
Oh, is that what swag surfing is?
Okay. It's stupid is what it is.
I just knew it as the dancing.
Yeah, they were doing the swag surfing, and it's the stupid stuff that your boy at Texas does, and he did at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want my guys doing any of that stuff because we sure thought we were something going into last year and humiliated. Just go ball, man.
We were wrong.
Well, we were really wrong, but just go ball. Go dominate and let that build organically. That kind of thing did happen, unfortunately. I hate to admit it, did happen for Miami in the year that the turnover chain happened, man. They got off to a good start. They were forcing turnovers. They were playing off the momentum gained in those situations. They were winning games because of it. And then organically, it kind of built to where they did have – everybody talks about swagger, annoyingly so, but they did have it. And they built it into the season as it went on because they were gaining confidence with each win, with each turnover, and each successive play made. We still haven't done it yet.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about dominating when we just like to have a turn in a good performance, honest performance.
This week has been, for me, about really more than anything else, can you get a win? I agree with Bryles there. I'd prefer it not to be 7-6. But also, can you just play well? Obviously, the win matters most. I'm not like all these people who say, well, if we play really well in these games and we show progress, I can handle losing 5 games. Not me. Nope, can't handle losing 5 games with this schedule. It's unnecessary. But, yes, I agree with the part. Can you just play well? Because we didn't play well last year.
This is the funny thing to me, though. But 4 games would be okay.
Yeah, because I think there are 4 legitimate losses. 2 of them are on the road. One's against the national champion in Clemson that you physically cannot match up against. I think we probably lose on the road to Florida at the end of the year. Those are 2 automatic losses. So I'm still giving you wiggle room for 2 more games. Not 3, but 2. You don't get 3 more games to lose. Not if you're playing well. I can't see it. I don't know how it happens.
Well, but the funny thing is you could have, like I've said, all the same plays except one different one, and that could give you a 5th loss out of nowhere. I do think the way we look matters. We need not be blown out 5 or 6 times this year, for example.
Well, if you play well, you won't be.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just, go play well. If you play well, I don't think if you play well, you can lose 5 games. I don't. Not with this schedule. I'm not saying the schedule is something you should go undefeated with. I'm not. We're not that team, and this schedule's not quite that easy. But it's pretty well set up for a team that's maximizing their talents to win 8 games. That is what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. Things happen, turnover luck and injury luck and all that matters. And everybody knows in football that you're fair to adjust expectations if something disastrous does take place. But, by the way, I understand that when somebody fumbles a football, there's an element of luck as to who recovers it. Okay. But you can also not turn the football over. You could be smart as a decision maker and avoid turning the football over. A guy who throws 20 interceptions, that's not bad turnover luck. That's bad quarterback play.
No, fumbles are mostly.
It's mainly
it's batted passes and fumbles.
Yeah, it's batted passes and fumbles, correct. Now, I would also say this, and it doesn't apply to us. It's a little less unlucky if you want to include stats like batted passes. If you employ a 5'10" quarterback, you're going to have batted passes. Mm-hmm. So you can remove that part of it too a lot of times.
Is that the Arizona Cardinals part of the segment?
That might be. Might be if you decide that you want a 5'6" quarterback to start for you in the National Football League, and he throws a lot of passes that get batted and thus picked off, that's not bad luck. You're stupid to have drafted him number 1.
The Kyler Murray truther, the 5'6" Kyler Murray.
He's a tiny man. I'm not buying that. I don't know what was going on at the combines. What they allowed to have happen there is nonsense. Watch the games, man. Watch him line up. He is a junior midget football player.
If you had a concern outside of the O, actually, you know what? Let me ask you this, because we've kind of talked about the O-line in such a way that I think everybody has a certain level of comfort we didn't think possible back in, say, February. You think that's fair? Like, we feel more comfortable with the prospect of what the O-line is more than we ever thought we could back in February.
Some new players, and also Clements has come in and instilled some confidence, sure.
Is the O-line still the number one position group of concern for you?
I think so, yeah, because they haven't had to block a dominant pass rusher. We don't have one. So every day in practice, if they have success, they're not having it against a dominant pass rusher.
The next position group of concern after offensive line would be
probably the depth along the defensive line. I think we got good starters, but I don't really see.
So that means you feel better about the edge position, at least with Warner and Gaynor, and then maybe
I feel okay about it. Maybe not necessarily to get pressure, but to do a good job of. I think this defense is going to do a good job against the run.
It's interesting. You ask all the coaches about Warner, and they all love him.
They do love him. Iro loves him. Every time I ask, when we talk to Iro about what he sees in the open portion of practice, he loves him too.
That would be a boon for us.
Well, can you imagine if you get something great out of him and then Kando actually plays football? And then Amari Gaynor comes in as a guy that can really is, electrifying athlete and explosive. Maybe you use him in different ways to get to the pass.
Heaven forbid you have Warner and Gaynor out there at the same time, because Warner is a mainstay, and then you can tinker with what you want to do on the other end with a three-down lineman.
They have the greater ability to tinker this year. They do. And Harlan Barnett told us that on Media Day. He said, we've got more guys with different skill sets that we can tinker. That's part of why they did this. They only have the three-down guys that they like. It's just, after that, it's kind of a, ooh.
Well, Willie did light up when he said the name True Thompson, though.
I got so excited about True Thompson when we recruited him. I'm still very excited. It's a lot to expect of a freshman to come in and make a huge impact along the defensive line. It can happen, but it's pretty damn rare. So I'll hold those expectations at bay. But it's good that he's had a good camp. That's for sure. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Devastating news, potentially. Hard to say that. Obviously, I always say that if it's about a kid. But when it's a team as deep as Alabama is, you don't always bring it up. But they lose a key figure off the edge. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. Alabama doesn't frequently lose, potential Butkus Award winners. Most teams don't, especially right this close to the season. You got to believe that has an effect. Got to believe that potentially even a team as deep as Alabama, when you're talking about a defensive signal caller, when you're talking about a player like Moses, you just can't say they move on. I was tempted to say that. I saw that news. I was, they'll move on. They've got, there are 3 guys that are equally as talented, but that can't possibly be true, right? He's projected to go 13th overall in the draft. Lose him on a Tuesday? I mean, right before you're about to start the year.
Lose him on any day.
No, but lose him on Game 6 on a Wednesday
or
something. I mean, what are we doing here just before the season? Dylan Moses is gone for the season.
Any day but a Tuesday.
I didn't mean it that way. I'm saying on a Tuesday this close to the start of the season, what are we doing? Suffered a knee injury during practice yesterday, and Nick Saban said today at the media teleconference that he needs surgery. He's out, quote, indefinitely. Sources saying there for ESPN.com that indefinitely means for the year. Quote, certainly this is a character check for our team, and we're going to do everything to support Dylan and the people that have the opportunity now to fill in for him. Butkus Award finalist, as I mentioned before, had 86 tackles, 10 for loss, 3.5 sacks in 2018, was really projected to be a force this year. Big Board, Mel Kiper and others have him top 15 in the draft for the upcoming season. So that's the last you're going to see him at Alabama in all likelihood. Great player. They were already dealing with the loss of an inside linebacker and the McMillan kid, I think it was. And he had season-ending knee surgery as well. And Alabama had already noted, Nick had talked about this openly, that I think, here it is. I pulled up the quote. We can't afford to lose a lot of guys on defense this year, especially not at linebacker. We haven't been able to stay healthy there the last couple of seasons, and that's limited some of what we've been able to do on defense. We've got good players, but a lot of really young ones. The maturity level, confidence, and experience, it's going to be a little bit of work and progress to get where we need to be, and then this happens. That was previous to this. I know how devastated we all are, but Tom, in fairness,
to the kid. In fairness to the kid, you hate it for the kid, but for Alabama, you're not going to cry in your beer.
You're not, but I do think as we talk about the playoff and we talk about chances of somebody other than Alabama emerging out of the West or emerging from the SEC instead of Alabama and getting to the playoff, this is a big deal. If only for the SEC championship game when they face Georgia.
Right.
I mean, maybe, right? The difference is usually razor thin when we're talking about the elite of the elite. We think Georgia's been knocking on that door. Bama down 2 linebackers at a thin position. Secretly, Georgia fans aren't broken up today. There's nobody choked up about what they just heard coming out of Tuscaloosa. I mean, that's a toughie.
Well, at least Alabama gets to ease into the football season this year. My goodness.
Duke, baby.
It's Duke, New Mexico State, South Carolina on the road for a medium test. Medium at most.
Yeah.
Then they host Southern Miss. Then they host Ole Miss.
Where you got to look for it is against teams that actually have a pulse on offense. Luckily, a lot of teams in the SEC don't. But you've got a kid now. The Benton kid will step in, had 14 tackles last season. He was the backup. He's now the starter. Christian Harris, a true freshman, listed as a starter at the second inside linebacker position. You've got freshmen out there running around now being asked to start. That can affect you. I mean, you could see if you're facing a better offense, and again, hard to find in the SEC.
Well, if you don't count the South Carolina game as a test, then their first test is October the 12th against A&M. You've got a month to figure out your issues here. And they play that on the road, as I said. But it's Duke, New Mexico State, South Carolina, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, bye week, Texas A&M. Then they host Tennessee. That's of no consequence, as we know. Arkansas comes to town, no consequence. They get another bye, and then they host LSU.
You don't think the dead fish has got a little something for them?
No. Goodness.
I took my plus 35 in Duke, baby.
Oh, man, like Daniel Jones is gone, Jeff. He might have given them a fighting chance in this game.
Oh, man. That is a Alabama is a unit, is a group of fans who were coming in hungry for this season after getting dismantled in the national championship game, humiliated, face rubbed in the sand, spit upon by Clemson, who's, teabagging out there, doing whatever they want. It's embarrassing what they did to Alabama.
Halo, they're clicking in the joystick.
Yeah, can you imagine now? It's just like, oh, guys, this is our revenge. Our revenge tour has taken a pit stop here with constant injuries to our linebacking core. This is devastating news. Or not. Maybe they don't think that at all. Maybe I'm just being a bit over the top because it's rare you get to have fun at Alabama's expense. And I'm not celebrating an injury to a kid. But they happen. It did happen. And now that is their reality moving forward. They're thin at linebacker. It can impact you in the SEC championship game, and you're running the playoff. And no doubt, given the standard is national championship or bust at Alabama, and that they got their doors blown off last year by Clemson, who's now won 2 of the last 3 national titles. They are seeking to send a resounding message that meet the new boss, same as the old boss, and this is going to make it decidedly more difficult. That's all I'm saying.
I find it funny that Nick Saban has been openly talking about having fun, almost as though to take a bit of a cue from
It's exactly
Dabo
what he's
Swinney.
doing. It's exactly what he's doing.
But this is the perfect season for angry Nick Saban. The revenge tour
Nick
season.
Saban's always angry, at least when it comes to the press.
No, but I mean, like, to be old school, like Nick Saban 1.0. Isn't this the perfect circumstance? You got embarrassed the final game of last year.
Break speed out you.
Yeah. You shouldn't need anything other than old school Nick Saban 1.0. You don't need an arm around the shoulder.
No, I think that's who they're going to get. I know what in recruiting, it's a compliment to Dabo Swinney that he has tried to incorporate "we have fun here too" speeches because it shows that they're taking note of the recruiting prowess of the Clemson Tigers for the first time. Really, everybody has to. I mean, Clemson's always recruited well, but now they're recruiting exceedingly well. And part of that is, hey, it's more fun to play here. And, oh, by the way, you don't have to go to Bama to win championships. We're winning them over here. And we've got first-rounders who come back for their final year. We're having so much fun. Perhaps they're well taken care of. Just saying, we're winning, taking care of our own, and taking down the Giants. Come on down to Clemson, South Carolina. If you're going to be in some boring-ass southern city, why not make it Clemson?
Why not Clemson?
Yeah.
We're in the shadows of Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lot of things you could do over there on a weekend.
That's right.
Or you could go to the coast.
Oh, man. It's football season. Having fun at others' expense. But not making light of a kid's injury. I mean, I don't know that kid from Adam, but that sucks for him. He will no doubt rehab and go somewhere near the first round, the NFL draft. It does affect your money. I guess there's a chance you could come back.
Well, for what? The Iron Bowl?
I'm just saying you project. Oh, I don't mean this year. I just mean for the NFL draft. You could either make a decision not to go to the draft and come back for your final season, or
this is where I think being part of that program helps you, just in general. When in doubt, they'll say, well, I'm going to trust the Alabama kid.
Well, and in fairness, if you can start at Alabama and be, on an awards list and finish somewhere in the top 3 of that, then you're probably pretty damn good. I think it's a safe assumption.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Well, another day. Here we go. I'm not bashful about openly admitting I want this week to end. You know, you're supposed to be excited about each show and every show, and I mean, in some ways I am, but I'm excited for them to be done because I'm ready to watch football and then comment on football. Comment on the game that was played and what has to be done moving forward and the other games that are being played and why this matters and how this is connected and what we're going to do next. Not speculative, well, you know, maybe the wind could be blowing. Just, can we? Yes, let's kick this SOB off.
We're not allowed. We're not allowed.
It has been. It went relatively quick, and then it stopped. In some ways, the dangling carrot there, you know, the rabbit being chased, that's what that was, that little nibble of, here's college football, there it is. Look at these two sorry-ass teams sacking each other ad nauseum and turning the ball over and being penalized to the tune of 250 yards. You're like, oh, okay. All right, it's our turn. And then just nothing. But we got football tomorrow. I mean, we do. You get football tomorrow, the Holy War.
Yeah.
And
late night Holy War. All right.
I'm up. I'm watching. I'm excited. It's late night all week for me this week, either between insomnia or the golf show tonight. Football tomorrow, I don't care. I'm running on adrenaline right now. It's all good. I'm excited about it. And I'm actually excited about that game because Utah is a team that a lot of people think have the chance, basically because they're physical and have the best offensive line in that conference, in a conference of perceived soft teams. They're the one that a lot of people think can win 12 games and make the college football playoff. But, you know, the thing is, when you play BYU, you're playing some grown-ass men. These are guys that have been on 2-year missions and come back, and oftentimes they can be problematic for folk if you don't get out ahead, and maybe there's a physical mismatch here or there on the field, and so you just don't know. But, you know, I'll have that number in action for tomorrow's Redemption Thursday edition of the program.
It's a team that went 7-6 last year.
Did they not beat Tennessee? What do I remember about BYU?
Oh, God, here we go.
Just double-check, Tom, to see. I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't. It might have been another year. I just had it in my head. Kind of flashed.
They play Tennessee in a week and a half. They play them on the 7th.
Oh, they do play Tennessee coming up.
Yeah. Last year, no. They Utah barely skirted by BYU, beat them 20-19 in week 2.
Okay.
They beat Arizona to start the year. Did BYU 18-16? That was the beginning of what's going on in Arizona, scoring 16 points at home.
Yeah, well, Arizona, and then now they turn around and lost.
UCLA. Wow, what a weird year. Oh, sorry. Wow, why is it giving me? I'm giving you completely unreliable information. This is Bronco Mendenhall season. So I pulled up their 2019 on Google, and you could scroll up to previous years.
Yeah.
It takes me straight to 2016.
I'm like, what in the world? But you knew they were playing Tennessee?
Because they have this season's correct schedule in front of me.
They just don't have the previous season.
You can scroll up, but it doesn't scroll to 2018. It scrolls to 2016 immediately.
How dumb is that?
Google it.
Maybe,
failed.
Maybe they did beat Tennessee, Tom.
Hang on, they might have. They might have. Now that I'm looking at the 2018 team.
I don't know if they did or didn't. I you know what it is? I think I just had it in my head that they play.
Well,
I made some immediate assumptions that they would beat Tennessee. Because that's what I do.
So a couple of those scores are actually relatively close when you talk about margin. They played Arizona at Arizona week 1 last year, did BYU. And Arizona won that game, BYU won that game 28-23.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Tennessee on the list. BYU played Wisconsin close. They played Washington.
That's what it was. They played Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was 24-21. That's when I got off of Wisconsin very quickly last year.
Yeah, they did. They played Wisconsin really close, and then that was the other thing. I remember looking at 2019 schedules thinking that Tennessee played BYU, and that was a very interesting under-the-radar opener because BYU can hang with teams like Wisconsin, and oh, by the way, Wisconsin is better than Tennessee. So that's that. There you go.
Washington blew the doors off of BYU, as did Utah State. Still waiting on the Utah State rundown.
They got a new situation going on at Utah State. A real good quarterback, but I'm doing my research.
Utah State beat BYU 45-20 last year.
Of course they did. Utah State's a covering machine.
The Holy War was played at Utah on November 24th last year, and the Utes came away with a 35-27 victory.
It's a November game. It's not the first game of the year.
Yeah.
So this is a whole nother can of worms, my friend. I'm telling you, that has the makings of a really good Thursday night football game. If you think about the Thursday night games, Tom, And if I were to lay out the schedule on a Thursday night, and at any point I told you we got the Holy War, we got BYU and Utah, you'd be like, all right, that's a good Thursday night game.
Solid-ass Thursday game.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I'm circling that right off the bat. There we go. We get saved a little bit there. A little gambling action, perhaps.
Yeah, well,
perhaps on a Thursday night to start. It could happen. And you get your weekend started right. And I'm playing with house money right now after going undefeated over the weekend. I'm off to a flying start yet again. Big Daddy J is feeling good. So I'll take some of my winnings from last weekend with the easy covers and slap it down on BYU. Perhaps. Got to go inside the numbers tonight. I got a little time before the golf show.
BYU, huh? BYU +6? Okay.
I haven't said what I'm going to do yet.
All right.
I do my research. I got some research to do, and I got time between the end of this show and the golf show tonight on Sirius XM. I can't speak.
On the PGA Tour Network,
I got choked
Channel
up
92.
thinking about the PGA Tour Network. And my show with Trey tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I always do. And we have the end of the year roundup, and Rory McIlroy is. We
going to be a guest?
No, that'd be great. Now that would be something. And Tom's like, I might listen. Yeah, no. So hey, by the way, we didn't talk about it. What better time to talk about it than at the end of the show? What a weird year. What a weird year. It's hard not to argue that Rory had an incredible year, and yet you take Brooks' year because of the major. But I do think the way the year ended was really important for Rory's legacy moving forward. He outplayed Brooks and did so head-to-head at the end. And even, you talk about revenging the head-to-head matchup from a few weeks prior where he was intimidated by Brooks and appeared to be. Missed his first birdie putt and never recovered. He was crazy. Brooks is missing 3-footers left and right like he's Phil freaking Mickelson out here. What in the world?
The problem was, I think, that bled over from his T-ball game, which he couldn't hit it in the fairway. And I think at some point that frustrates you to no end, and you start losing the details a little bit.
It's odd. I'll ask Trey tonight. He knows so much more about every little nuance of Brooks' personality and swing than I do, but I'm learning from him, and we're all learning from watching him. Brooks is a weird cat, man, because when he's hitting it in the fairway, it looks like he could never not. That swing is his swing thoroughly. It's not what you would teach anybody to do. He doesn't have any hip action in his swing whatsoever. It's all brute strength. It's over the top. It's across it. It's weird. Yet he's able to repeat it better than most. And so every time you see it, you're like, well, he's just going to hit that cut 330 yards and there's nothing you can do about it. He's going to hit it past you. And then he's really good with his irons. And it's a matter of if he's making putts. And then when he starts going wayward, you're like, this ain't good, because who can fix that? Nobody can tell him anything. You can't play golf swing with him. It's just weird.
Well, his coach, his lifelong coach knows him. His swing coach since he was a little, wiry 13-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't think they talk about the swing. I don't think it's about, that's why Brooks doesn't worry about the swing. He's like, my swing's the swing. I can hit a golf ball. He has to figure out when he's going.
Well, he picked the wrong course to be wild on. He even said it when he won in Memphis. He said, I like the course to set up at Eastlake because it's a thinking man's golf course, and you got to pick your spots. But at a place like that, if you're not able to keep it in the fairway. Then
Schauffele had trouble with that, too, for much of the day, and then he ironed it out.
Brooks had a two-way miss.
Yeah. Curious. But the putting of Rory McIlroy the second half of the season, if that carries over, he'll win 2 majors next year.
It's going to carry over to February. I can guarantee you that. And March next year.
Yeah, but you can't get on him. He had an incredible year. He won multiple tournaments. He won the Players. He just won the Tour. He was the best player on tour this year. It didn't translate in a major, but he won. He was the best player on tour this year. And the stats bear that out, too. At the end of the year, he is putting in a way he's never putted. If that happens, he'll win 3 or 4 more majors.
He'll probably be in one of the final 2 pairings on Saturday at Augusta. Probably.
Yeah, he's never won that one, and that's the one, right? He's still chasing that one. He has 4 majors in the bag. I think because he's so good, we probably hold him to an impossible standard. So if that guy retires with 6 majors, are you going to say, hey, wasn't that?
No, I'll be glad he got a 5th, because right now it looks like it's here. It's in between the years for the majors.
Well, at Augusta, I would agree with that. I don't think it is elsewhere.
Well, how do you explain Thursday blow-ups this year consistently when he plays brilliantly and finishes in the top 10 every time it's not?
Yeah, I would say this. That first hole at the British, that sucked. That's really unlucky. And then he falls it up with a 65. That was gutty. I really believe if he doesn't get unlucky there, he's in contention to win that tournament on that Sunday. But he did. He's got to do it. But we say that about everybody until they do it. If Brooks goes 2 years without winning one, we're going to say it's
I'm just saying it's a thing now. It's been 5 years. For Rory, it's real. It has to be because, he's winning everywhere else. Anywhere else that you can win, he's won.
Yeah. Well, golf's hard. That's why we go back and look at Tiger Woods the way we do. And obviously Jack. They're the only two guys in the world to ever do that, to ever just make it look like it's not that hard, where you can have a gazillion second-place finishes and have, double-digit majors. People don't do that.
But that's where I'd argue that Brooks is deserving. I think Rory, obviously the final week, they draw even in terms of the head-to-head matchups in the final group on a Sunday. But Brooks was consistently there in the biggest moments of the season, and he didn't play a full schedule. He didn't play as often. If you're going to go 2-1-2 in the majors, and then you're still, in shouting distance on Sunday at the Open Championship. He didn't play great. He didn't putt well all week. That's an incredible level of consistency in the biggest moments. And then you follow it up with the stamp that everybody wanted him to have, which was he wins a WGC event as we're approaching the playoffs for the season.
No, he had a great year. There's no doubt.
If he didn't finish well at all, anywhere near the top of the leaderboard in the playoffs or the WGC event, right? Then you'd say, well, he's majors only, Brooks. But I think what he did after the Open Championship helped fortify his case.
Yeah, my praise for Rory is not to take away from Brooks. Brooks had a great year. There's no getting around that. I got no problem with holding Brooks on high because he played incredibly well. I just think it was important for Rory, who also finished with the best score, removing all of the handicap stuff that week. He would have won the event if they all started even, and that's not a poor field. It's the best players in the world who've had the best years, and he did it by making a lot of putts. He's always driven the ball better than everybody else. He was still better than everybody else off the tee. The fact that he's making putts, that changes everything about his game. Now, you're right. Can you carry that over, whatever that was? When he won the 4 majors in a short period of time, remember we used to talk about, I used to love the way he locked it in for his putter, and you'd go, man, that's really unflappable. You can't, if he's got the speed right, he's not going to be wayward. He's going to make them all.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where that went away. Golf is so freaking hard. It's crazy to me that a guy could find that, have it, sustain it, because everything else is fine with his game, and then lose it. And then find it again several years later. It's bizarre. And who knows? We've watched a lot of people do this very under the radar. For example, Rory Sabatini had a huge year. Rory Sabatini. Now, you go back and look at all the top 20s. We thought he was out of golf.
Well, how about
he was out of golf.
How about Adam Scott from distance on the greens?
Yeah.
He's a good mid-range to long putter.
It was crazy. It's just golf is crazy. And you have guys, and on that note, Jordan Spieth. Arguably the greatest year, 2015, the greatest year anybody's ever had on the greens. Unbelievable.
Yeah, scrambling at the very least, yes.
And he's never been a great driver of the golf ball, and he made everything. And now, putting, now we're walking. The very thing that made that 2015 season possible, he hasn't, what are we doing? He has great Thursdays and Fridays. He is a Thursday, Friday warrior.
What are we doing? I think that's the right question.
Yeah, and then on a Saturday, it gets... Now, I would argue, is much more mental than Rory. Jordan's crazy. How else do you throw up an 80? When is that? Where is that coming from?
Well, but Rory's thrown up some big numbers since his 2014 conquest, his last major win.
If we're going back 5 years, sure, they all have. I'm talking about this year, several times going into a Saturday, we ended up watching... Jordan, what was it just 2 weeks ago? He threw up whatever that was at the end of 82 or something. You're like, well, where did that come from? You lead the field and everything, and all of a sudden you're shooting an 82. That's weird. That's not throwing up a 75 and somebody else blows past you. An 82.
It breaks my heart to see it.
Probables, here we go.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
I don't know if he stayed up for it. Speaking of broken hearts. It's got to be a double play, but the Phillies can't squeeze it. Can't squeeze it over there at first base, and old Rhys Hoskins is hearing it from the fans now. If you got to be a hitter, you got to be a hitter. Because if you're not a fielder, you better be a hitter. This ain't been a good run here. Mitch Keller will go for the Pirates, though. The Phillies will get right. Maybe because it's Vince Velasquez who sucks. It could be iffy. Orioles, Nationals. Asher Wojciechowski, Max Scherzer, your look there. I don't imagine Scherzer will go any more than 5. Braves, Blue Jays, Mike Fultonevich, Jacob Wugusbach.
All right.
Reds, Marlins, Anthony DeScalfini, Sandy Alcantara. Yeah, Indians, Tigers. We got Aaron Sabal, Jordan Zimmerman. Odds of that game are kind of strange. I would think the Indians put a lot of money on the Indians. Cubs, Mets. Your bats have gone icy. The hell are we doing in New York?
Somebody in this room put a wager on the Mets and Stroman last night. Somebody else counseled against it. These are a huge set of 2 games for the Mets, tonight and tomorrow against the Cubs. I don't want to say it's your season, but it's close.
I kind of think it's your season.
It's
You're
close.
kind of on the ropes right about now, but the way things have gone there. Don't pitch to Baez.
Yeah, well.
Or, apparently, what's-his-face, who hasn't hit all year, then came back up.
If they, if the Cubs win even one of these next 2, I feel like I'm just on Alonso 53 home run watch. Let's see if he can break Judge's record. That's about it.
Kyle Hendricks goes for the Cubs. Noah Syndergaard should help the Mets get right.
We'll see.
Rays, Stros. Ryan Yarborough's been incredible. Garrett Cole has too. Game of the night, Rays, Stros. Twins, White Sox. I almost said White Sox. Would have been appropriate. Jake Odorizzi's been really good as of late. Ross Detweiler is Ross Detweiler. We got the A's and the Royals. Tanner Roark. Yeah. Jacob Judas goes for the Royals. Red Sox, Rockies, Eduardo Rodriguez. Peter Lambert. Dodgers, Padres, Kent Tomeda, Trey Wingenter. Emmanuel Klaus goes for the Rangers. The Angels will throw Patrick Sandoval, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. All right, so I would say that Front Row Knowles tonight.
That's correct. Coming up next.
Always good to tune into the Front Row Knowles, but it's really good on game week. I'm excited to sit back and listen in on game week.
I think a great place to catch them from might be Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Share Road, 2910 Cary Forest Parkway, online, jerrycigarshop.com.
Kind of become a bit now. I just say something and you're like, maybe if we were all sitting at Jerry's. Thank you, Jerry's Cigar Shop. Yay, Jerry's. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Front Row Knowles up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.